took down Finland 4-1. Now coming up here in just a few minutes, Rasmus Dahlin and Team Sweden, they will take on Italy. For the United States and Tage Thompson, their campaign will get rolling tomorrow. They'll take on Latvia at around 3 p.m. Before them will be Team Canada. They'll begin their run against Czechia at 10:40. Some big notes today. For the United States, women's mogul skiing sees Lise Lemley take gold, while Jalen Koff claims silver, and men's speed skater Jordan Stolz, he takes gold and sets a new Olympic record in the 1,000-meter speed skate. And with that, your current medal count sees Norway still in the lead with 13. Italy is in second with 12, and the United States just behind them in third with 11. Norway does lead the way with gold medals at 7. We do have some Bills news today. The team did announce they have signed quarterback Shane Buechele and wide receiver Jalen Virgil to one-year deals. And then in college hoops, UB men, they're on the road versus Ball State. That game will tip off just after 7 and can be heard over on our sister station, The Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Schopp and the Bulldog.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
Monday, Tuesday, hump day is halfway. It's Mike Schopp.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And the Bulldog.
Hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on. I know you can hear me.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
On WGR.
Hump day!
Sports Radio 550.
Well, my schedule or our schedules are not those of most people, but there are times when pretty much diving headlong into a sporting event is kind of impossible because of the timing of it. And then there are times when it's absolutely perfect. And the Winter Olympics, when it's 6 hours ahead, or any event, when it's World Cup, whatever. Golf.
Open Championship.
Right. When it's 5 or 6 hours ahead, that works for me. Because I can watch, I can just sit there and veg on it for hours. Do you have something, having said that, you want to talk about by yourself for like 11 or 12 minutes? Because the curling is like right at the end. And so, no? Do you have anything, any monologue, anything you want to get off your chest? Do you have any beef? Anything you want to just sort of rant on? Maybe I didn't even need to set it up. I could have just thought of something that maybe you would. Yeah. Oh, isn't replay the best? And then there you go, and now I can watch the end of it, and we're good.
I feel badly now. This is a moment where, normally I like you to, I think you know this, spring things on me. This I could have prepared for and had something ready. I don't.
No? Okay.
I don't really, no. Well, I mean, I could give you a couple of minutes, maybe. On something that is, not uncommon. Lots of people have car trouble. My truck, I have a 12-year-old truck, right? I have a 2014
Ask
Dodge Ram
and ye
truck,
shall receive.
And I love it. I've had it for almost 5 years now, and I really like it. Like, it's a truck that I feel like if it were to hold up, I could see me never getting another vehicle. I know that's probably unrealistic because it's, the end will come.
What's the ceiling?
Mechanically.
250,000 miles?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm like 64,000 right now. It had incredibly low miles when I bought it. I bought it in the summer of 21, and it had 30,000 miles on it when I bought it. And I felt like that was a really uncommon to find a truck even that old then. That was a 7-year-old truck with 30,000 miles on it. So I like it a lot. It's like at the front end of a lot of the technology. It's got the touch screen.
It has brakes.
It's got, I mean the
wheels.
The comforts inside, like the screen and the tell you what's going on, let you know when you need an oil change.
It has that?
Like that kind of stuff.
It tells you when you're low on gas.
It does have a gas gauge.
It
doesn't do anything special.
Is your phone loaded into it?
Yes, my phone is loaded into it, but it's clumsy. The truck I had before this was a much newer model. throttle, and
Is it age of majority?
I would get text messages, on the screen on that truck. This one, no. Anyway, I've had error messages. Really, keep watching your curling. I think I'm going to be able to stretch out for a minute here.
I'm engaged in the conversation.
I've had left turn signal out. Right, message on the dashboard. Left turn signal out. Right brake light out. None of these things are out. It's just been cold.
Oh,
and first time I sensed that maybe there was a problem with the technology on this truck was even last winter. It dawned on me, I have to turn, how you get the sensors that tell you when you're close to something in front of you or behind you. I don't really need the one in front of me that much, but the behind is good for backing a truck into parking spots. Anyways, when it would get cold, the front one would just go off. I'd be driving 30 miles an hour down a city street, and the thing would be beeping at me. There's nothing in front of me other than road. I'm not tailing anyone. I got to turn this off. Some of this stuff's a little touchy.
I have that a little bit.
Okay.
I have a problem with that.
So I've got these messages about the lights, and I've checked numerous times. The lights are all working, but I keep getting these messages. I even got, when you lose a blinker, say you lose your left turn signal, front or rear, doesn't matter. When you go to click the signal down to turn left, it flashes faster. Like it's letting you know something's wrong, right? The blinker is going beep, 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 instead of dip, 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 dip. It just goes like twice the speed. I don't know if you've ever noticed this. It's pretty common. Anyways.
Okay.
It's even doing that, but the blinkers are all working. Everything's working. So I get in my truck 2 nights ago to go home, and there's a new message. And it's got like a...
You could go 11 minutes on this.
I'm telling you.
You're like halfway.
You're going to be sorry you asked.
I already kind of am. I'm interested.
I get what's going to wrap up pretty quick. Okay. I get a new warning. It says service electronic throttle something controls. Service electronic throttle control. It's got like a lightning looking symbol there. Like it looks serious, right? But the truck's still driving fine, and I'm thinking this is another version of this.
Yes, it's another
glitch in the matrix that is my 12-year-old truck with outdated technology. Well, so I don't do anything, right?
That's what I would do.
I didn't do anything.
That's what I would do.
Last night I go to leave. The check engine light is on now. That mysterious like yellowish, orangish symbol. That's
Never
on.
want to see that.
That's new, and my truck will not. I cannot drive the vehicle more than 30 to 35 miles an hour. Like 35 is the absolute peak.
Oh, wow.
And it won't shift out of like second gear. So at driving home last night, I was able to keep up. I'm driving from here to Buffalo. It's all 35 miles an hour, except for a little stretch of Millersport where it might be 45.
Yep.
But anyway, I make it home, but I can't. And the engine is revving because it's ready to shift into another gear so I can go 45 miles an hour, but it won't do it.
Finally, it's not the lights problem.
No.
It's the actual thing.
I've got a problem. But for, a day I thought I'm in the clear. It's probably just it's just something glitchy. But now I didn't even drive my truck here today. I did call in some favors. I got an appointment tomorrow morning. I got to drive from my house down the boulevard at rush hour to get to where I need to go.
Rush hour is cute.
I got to point out rush hour because we never drive in rush hour.
But it's Buffalo.
Yeah, right.
Or Amherst.
But still, max speed. Like I'm gonna be going 30 miles an hour when people are trying to get to work. Is the point tomorrow? And
hazard lights.
Yeah, probably. My son following me behind. Leo will assist me in this journey. But anyway, I got done in by the lights. I thought I was fine, ignoring the warning lights because they were all false flags the whole time. But now this one apparently is real. Did the curling end?
I'm not watching it. I was preparing for the show the whole time. I am not somebody that can really sympathize with you with the lights problem because I am a peak lights ignorer. And it's often like tire pressure. And I was driving home from Toronto a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, my car is shaking. And so I called my wife, and my son was in the car, and he's basically like, your tire has been low for 2 weeks. You haven't done anything about it.
Yeah.
Once I got air in the tire, I was better.
Yeah, that'll do it.
You know,
yeah.
I usually get to where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of my habits in this area, but
see that we are very different. I am not a lights ignorer. In this case, I was, because the truck was teaching me to be a lights ignorer by sending me these bogus, alarms. But turns out this one isn't bogus and sounds maybe a little serious. But
for sure,
you get me a check tire light. I got to find the place where I can get air right away. I cannot live
That's
with
the one
that light being on. Well, because it's an easy fix. I'm just going to go to the gas station, or if the driveway's clear, I have a compressor in the garage. Like, I can just rectify it, and I need to. I don't. It's like the phone to me. I don't want stuff in my field of vision that's telling me something's wrong.
Okay.
But this thing I was willing to ignore because hopefully I was hoping it was like everything else, but turns out it's not.
Well, very good. One of the original premises here was that the Olympics are on when we're not working, which is, for me, a great benefit, a treat.
Good.
So I watched Finland, Slovakia in hockey today. Did you?
I watched a good bit of it. Yeah, last 2 periods, I guess I saw.
Are you at all conflicted about having NHLers there anymore? Were you ever? Was it ever offensive to you that the pros would go? It might have been for me.
I can't remember. I mean, 1998 is so long ago. Like that's when they went for the first time, and Hasek with the Czech Republic, and Richard Schmelik won gold.
And I watched almost none of that. Because it was so middle of the night.
I was getting up for it. I was hosting a show by myself in those days at night, 5 hours. I wanted to see every bit of it. So I did watch everything I could.
And you would probably say it was worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't miss the sleep.
Right. I mean, it's a long time ago. I was much younger. And could run on less sleep pretty regularly, so it wasn't a big deal.
Salt Lake is my version of this, and that was, pretty much normal time.
Yeah.
And I bet I was, I wish I knew. I bet I was kind of torn. And we have 1980. And if you remember the movie Miracle about that incredible win, at the end of the movie, there's a monologue. It's Kurt Russell as Herb Brooks saying, something to the effect of, it's not the same anymore. Once they started sending pros, it might be the last words of the movie is you can't have this anymore.
Yeah.
And then we stopped going because the time zone wasn't conducive to the NHL, for marketing purposes. So we stopped. I don't think there's anything more to it. Just, it was going to be on in the middle of the night again.
Yeah.
So we don't really need to be there. Right?
Yeah, I think that was large.
We could make money off it.
Yeah, right. And they really still don't. Like the league does not get really anything out of it other than showcasing the players.
Well, that's something, though.
That is. And that it's been for the whole time. The argument about it has been the players really want to go, but the league doesn't want to shut down. The owners don't want them to go and risk injury in the middle of a season, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all, there's nothing that is hidden, really, I think. It's all pretty obvious what everybody's motivations have been. But they finally found a way to make it work, bargaining and whatever, and so they're there. I don't know, but I'm really that first game, I don't remember if I wanted it or not, or was against it or not. I know I loved it. I mean, Hasek was a superstar, and he was ours at the time, and that was really cool. Kind of like Ryan Miller in 2010. Like, that was really exciting. He's the number one goalie for Team USA. It's not even the Czech Republic. It's our home country. So I've really enjoyed it, and mostly not paid a ton of attention when they haven't been there. Like, I've watched it still. The one year our buddy David Leggio was one of the goalies, when I think the first year that the NHLers didn't go, he was on the team. He didn't play, but that was really cool. I wanted to watch that in case he would play because he was coaching my son at the time, and that was cool to know someone that well, that is on the U.S. men's hockey team.
Well,
but the games are better with these guys, I think, undeniably.
1998 is 28 years ago. Salt Lake is 24 years ago. How much changes? The game changes. Your sensibilities change. There are, we have this come up in different areas all the time. Like, yeah, I'm not really bothered by that anymore. I got other things I need to worry about that are more important. Different sports rules and things like this. Like, I used to care a lot. I hardly care at all. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but so your sensibilities change. The game changes. Lots of things change. And I even got to a point, I thought about this. I think about this sometimes watching the women, which I love to do now. I think about it just randomly at other occasions when they canceled the season in 04-05. Again, still a long time ago. I would say, I just replace them all. Give me the next best fleet of hockey players and put them in Sabre jerseys. I don't think I'm going to notice.
And I always thought that was patently absurd.
Well, you didn't agree with that.
Right.
I mean, you couldn't tell me whether I would notice.
Well, that's
but
right.
You didn't agree with that.
Right.
And I thought it was probably to the point, like the game is different, some function of that the game was kind of in mud in those years. So if I have the Amerks and the Devils have the Utica Devils, whatever it is, I think it's going to be 2-1. I mean, I don't even know if it's that. I'm not entertained that greatly in the first place by the NHL product. So just give me some facsimile of it. And now let me finally get there.
Yeah.
I know
You wanted 11 minutes.
I gave you the ball. And now I want to butt
know
my
where
head
you're going,
back in.
I like where you're going to end here, I'm pretty sure.
I think Finland, Slovakia, without the top and Slovakia had, 7 NHL players, they said? But I feel like already this tournament will look a lot different.
Yeah.
And it should, to make it worth doing. And that's good. And with all that said, I wasn't pining for amateurs today.
Yeah.
I think give me the best players. And that Four Nations was an appetizer for this. Now it's more countries. And, Slovakia beats Finland, which was invited to Four Nations, and Slovakia was not.
Right.
So, game on.
Yeah. Yeah, I patently absurd is probably strong, and you're right to point out that's really your feelings, not mine. Like I feel like I would have missed the guys back then, but the point you make there in the middle is a very good one. The style of the game has changed so drastically. I think the best players are so evidently the best players now. Like it's easier to discern the difference, I think, between Nathan McKinnon and some guy playing for the Utica Devils.
They're worth more.
Yeah.
The top players.
You can see the speed, the skill, the talent, the game. Like I've been saying for I don't know how many years. I mean, it goes back a long ways. Definitely while these guys were not playing in the Olympics, that the game's never been better. Like hockey, I started getting to a point where whenever it would come up, I'd be like, watch a game. It's the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
The speed and the skill and the talent is just, it's shining in a way, not always. There's still games that, of course, you're not going to get that every night. But I think now the talent of the top, the very best guys it's unmistakable. Like I think even the most casual viewer can discern, like, wow, look at that guy. Cale Makar is going to play with a bunch of other rock stars for Canada, and the U.S. has got a loaded team too. And I just think it's going to look incredible. And today, even Finland and Slovakia was fast and not like super mean, but it was edgy. Like guys were finishing checks, and it's not an exhibition. Like it's a serious endeavor here.
That might be similar. Why wouldn't it be to amateurs? Right? Like they'd care just as much, probably, and compete just as hard. But no one scores that Slavkovsky, well, maybe both of his goals. that isn't that player. Like those are elite NHL level plays by a guy who was picked first overall, Montreal.
Yeah.
I was just at the game here on the Saturday night when the Canadians won. He scored a goal early in the game and reacted the same way. Like it just sort of came back to me. So that's what you're going to get. Maybe that manifests, it will, in different ways, whether that's goaltending or just whatever it is, structure somehow. But those kind of goals, those kind of plays, that was always there. Whether the NHL let, not that it is, meaning interesting anymore, 20 years ago, whoever the best player in the league was to get through without being held at the blue line.
Right.
Now that's not really on the table. That's not something we complain about with the NHL. And as long as, I was going to say, I guess, that player, whoever that was in 2003, could function without being held up all the time, then it would be the same. It would be like that player, whether it's an NHL format or the Olympics or whatever, you would get those moments of greatness. That's really what it is. If, just now I'm sort of belaboring it, but if in those days, who do I want for this? Solane or somebody like that couldn't be the beauty that he is
right.
when he's not being, like in an all-star
because
game.
Of how the game was being officiated and just played, and
then
what was allowed.
What do I need him for?
Yeah, so you've got that, and so the way it was officiated, the way the game is played has changed. Excuse me, but you also have had just a generation or two of the best guys identified young coming through that are just being coached and taught the skill with the puck and just the skating, the work that guys do on their edges to skate the way they skate now is just so advanced. I mean, it just was not. It's just like anything. Like the more you learn how to do what's effective, like the more you can hone in on what it is that makes the best skater. You can teach that and coach that, and there's just so much more available as far as like skills coaches and skating coaches and off-season skating coach. Like guys just work on that part of their game in a way that I just don't think you would have ever heard of 30 or 40 years ago. It just is far more advanced now. And so you're getting all the time. There's just more, better, faster guys showing up year over year. It just, it's not an unbreakable line, like a straight line going up all the time. But I don't know where it'll peak. Maybe it has already and will start coming down again. I don't know. But the talent is just evident when you put a game that'll have, the talent U.S. and Canada will be putting on the ice. Even Sweden. I mean, I don't want to.
Even Sweden.
I don't want to. Even Sweden. That sounds ridiculous.
Listen to that bulletin board.
They're a hockey power. I don't know. I don't think they'll. I don't like Italy's chances of doing what Slovakia did today. Like hanging a big upset on a favorite.
No.
Although, you never know. I guess
it really is I think a more interesting conversation if you can recall the days when we were always complaining about the game and how it wasn't like then the old days, which could have been the 80s, or whether that's goal scoring, could have been the 70s, whether that's fighting. Like you just never hear the complaints anymore. And did anybody ever really get the credit? Not that everybody has to agree about this. It's subjective, but who ever really got the credit? Nobody ever gives the NHL any credit. Do they deserve it? Did the NHL just sort of have it break right for them? That there was the money was growing like in pretty much every sport, and that led to more, training and specialized training and these kinds of things. And then you end up with, a league of, well, they're not all Nathan McKinnon, but you end up with a league where it's sort of, I think football got lucky that television, exploded the way it did, and football fits just right on the screen, and the colors and the game and the violence and everything about it makes for a great TV show in a way that maybe other sports don't have that happen to them so naturally. But just nobody ever really stops to give the NHL any credit. I'm not sure they deserve it. But you've got right now a fun league that's competitive. Here I am now that the Sabres are in it, sort of like awakened to the positives, I guess I want to say. And this Olympic tournament could be incredible. Well,
I just realized I thought we had the channel on, and I was waiting for the game to start. But Italy is up 1-0 on Sweden. I was waiting, and it listed on the guide after whatever we had on was. But anyway, I just fiddled around, and there it is. We've got the game on now. So
you're on NBC, and you had been on USA.
No, I had been on USA, and the game was listed on USA, but whatever was on was still going, and I just fiddled around with it and clicked on the game, even though it wasn't time for the game on the guide, and the game came on.
It's 8 minutes into the game, and Sweden has 14 shots on goal.
14-3 are the shots, but Italy has scored.
That's hockey.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Your thoughts on this? The tournament, the pros being back in it, how badly you want USA or whatever to happen, USA to win, whatever to have happen. 803-0550 is the number. What?
You want one other hockey update that has nothing to do with the Olympics? My son Owen is watching your daughter play at Nichols right now, and he says she looks good. Her edges look very good.
That's good. It's senior day. I believe it's senior day. She's not a senior, but good to hear. So we got that in. We will talk to Warren Sharp today. Football, 4 o'clock. Sal Capaccio joins us later as well. We'll look to hear from you next. 803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
I think there's going to be some chatter about Dawkins, which I know is crazy because you don't want to move a left tackle when you've got a quarterback of Josh Allen's worth. But I just think we're getting to that point in time where flipping that position over is probably at least in consideration. Dawkins is a little bit on the pricier side for the next couple of seasons, and probably we'll be talking about a new contract within the next 18 months. So that's a player you package with a pick and probably bring back either a nice bounty of picks with it or a player of a value you're looking for to fulfill one of his positional needs.
Ooh. Mike Giannitti of Spotrac on the prospect of the Bills trading Dion Dawkins. Could they ever?
I would still be pretty surprised if they did it already. I mean, he makes the right point. Like, being preemptive about something like that is usually the best way to be. But with everything else that's going on, I'm not sure I really see it. I feel like they have at least ideas for in-house replacements if they lose the guard in the center, Edwards and McGovern. I don't think they're ready to say Ryan Vandermark will be our left tackle. So you'd be creating a void which you would need to fill with a pretty high-end player. That's, to me, either a draft pick or a free agent, and I don't see you saving money doing that. So I'm not real sure it lines up. But there's going to come a time here, maybe even on Dawkins, his current existing contract, where you're like, I'd like a lower number there. Maybe he was at his peak a couple of years ago, and it's still very good. I just don't think they'll open a hole there. As much as they will be looking to find creative ways to save money, I don't know if they go to him and ask him to just flat out take a pay cut. I mean, they could try that. Doesn't have to work. But I'd be surprised if they moved him right now.
My God. I would be blown away. More than trading Diggs. I mean, Dawkins gives you no sense of discord or anything like that,
right,
unlike Diggs. And I just think, I mean, you know me in fantasy, I get annoyed when anybody in a fantasy league I'm in bothers to post on a message board, so-and-so is on the block, because I always think to myself, why wasn't he? Why should I have thought you wouldn't have traded anybody on your team? I mean, it's just fantasy football. You'd trade, anybody. You want to be open to any idea. But in real life, I think there are exceptions to that. And I guess it could be debated whether Dawkins is one. But for me, he kind of is. Like, I don't even want to open Spotrac when it comes to Dion Dawkins. Like, just he's here for as long as he wants to be. As long as he doesn't get bad, then I'll deal with that. But he is number 2 on the list of players for importance and, fan popularity. Isn't he just like not Allen, but next in every way?
He rates very highly, I think, popularity-wise. Yeah, it's the big personality. I mean, he's one of the key voices of the team, I think.
And that's also, as I think it gets overdone, but to the extent where the team takes pride in what they mean to the community, like individually, Dawkins is way up there. Like, he's as around as anybody, maybe easily more visible in this way than anybody else on the team. So, wow. Yeah, that isn't something I've thought about at all. He's never been a player that fans call in to complain about. Has that ever happened? I mean, you get the occasional offensive line point, but it's usually easily refuted. He's just, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this point? So part of the calculus on this is whether it's Dawkins or someone else, like, what do we need to think about in terms of the fan base and where we're at? I mean, I don't even know if the coaching change was really that much of a negative to the fan base. Most people at least will get it, why they did it. So there's that to consider, but do they need to consider how do I want to put it? What the fans want in anything they do this offseason? Is that while they'll draft a certain player or position? Is that while they'll do A or B in free agency. Like, teams shouldn't operate like that.
Right.
And this team has had the luxury of really not having to worry about that. Josh Allen blocks out the sun when it comes to all this stuff. But maybe now they're at a point where that's something that they talk about. This is something that they talk about.
Well, I mean, if you want to overhaul your team, and I don't know that they do. They overhauled their coaching staff. But Dawkins is a place I think you could look, but you have to have some kind of a way forward that includes a high enough pick that you're just basically plug and playing. Like you could be motivated to try to build a scenario where you can find someone in the draft that you think can step right in like Dawkins did as a rookie in 2017 and play on a first-round draft pick rookie contract. It's still going to be way cheaper than what Dawkins is getting paid currently. If you could find your way to that, I would listen. As popular as Dawkins is and as good as he's been, if you can save $10 million by changing out a rookie for him and not have a dramatic drop-off in performance or any drop-off in performance at all, that's optimal, obviously, then I think you get to work trying to build that plan. I don't know what even the first step is because everything doesn't line up for you. The decision to do something with him comes, I would think, ahead of the draft when you're opening up money for free agency, and you can't know what's going to happen for sure, unless you find yourself in the top 5, and I don't know how they're doing that. So I don't think there's a scenario where you could comfortably go, all right, yeah, we know we can get our hands on this guy to replace him, so let's save the money and bite the bullet from a PR standpoint. I think it's a hard house to build for me. So that's why I say I'd be very surprised. But I would understand anyone looking at the ledger right now, like Mike Giannitti or anyone who's looking at the salary cap and going, okay, he's this age. Can I get younger and cheaper and still continue to have one of the best offenses in the league? If I do that, how do I do that? Smart people in the room, help me build a scenario. And I just don't. Sitting here out of the thin air right now, I can't imagine building that scenario.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't really equate, but I'm sort of feeling like I want to be that guy that calls in on any Bills scenario with something from the past as the comp. Wolford.
Right.
In the Super Bowl years, the Bills divested of Will Wolford. What was it, Plan B?
Yeah, he got a poison pill offer from Indianapolis that they knew. I think Polian was there by then. Knew the Bills couldn't match, and so he left. He went to Indianapolis, and the Bills had to pivot to that's John Fina.
John Fina.
Yeah,
93. Well, all right, we don't need to do that then. We don't need to complicate this.
I don't think so.
Do not trade Dion Dawkins. Make an exception. Figure something else out. There are a lot of players on these teams. There's 50 guys. Figure something else out.
Right.
A lot of them are replaceable. A good, if not great, left tackle is not easily replaced. Like that, it's not something to take for granted. I doubt the Bills will do that. But if it did come down to weighing options in terms of cap relief, and he's going to be 32 before the season starts, then maybe that's all that matters to them. I don't know. I'd never thought about it before that clip.
I would sooner expect them on the offensive line to keep the tackles in place. Torrance is due for a new contract if you want to do it. He just finished year 3. He's a second-round pick, so he's going into the final year of his rookie deal, which makes him a UFA after next year. You don't have to make a commitment there. You could, but you don't have to. You have to be comfortable letting him go into a walk year. I would guess that they are going to make a choice depending maybe on the marketplace and cooperation from the players. One of the two, Edwards or McGovern, I think one of the two of them is probably gone. It could be both, but I would guess they'll try to find their way to keeping one of them. You keep Dawkins and you plug and play Alec Anderson or Chase Lunt or Cedric Van Pan Granger or someone that has been here biding their time. it's their time now. You're a starter. So I think there will be change. The biggest reason I think you don't make a Dawkins move is because of that. Like, that's coming already, and I'm sure they have a plan in place for what they, optimally would like to do. I'm sure they'd tell you we like to keep everybody, like Bean always says. I just don't think it's going to be realistic to keep both of those dudes on new contracts with them both set to hit the market. But he's done it before. We know that, right? There was the offseason with each of these seasons has had different challenges. But like Milano, we thought was gone, and then last minute, look, they found their way to a new deal, and he's not hitting the market.
Yesterday or today is the anniversary of when they cut Bruce, Thurman, and Andre.
It was yesterday. I saw
yesterday.
That, yeah,
that hit hard.
Yes, yes, it did.
What? I think the players themselves thought that. Thurman was watching it on the ticker on TV when he found out.
The story he's told, yes.
Lines are open for your calls. Warren Sharp coming up at 4, so 20 minutes. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. Another one of those moments when if you're not in the room, you missed it. You missed out. Sorry, we can't go continuously. We have to take breaks. ADP chasing, of course, that's a different story. The break I took last night, notwithstanding, because I had a coughing fit. So I had to just sort of stop talking for a minute.
That's a tough one there.
Or two. That happens, but you just missed Bulldog singing, everybody.
Oh, I guess that is what I was doing.
I was going to bring up a song today.
I'm sorry that I did that to you.
I think I'm sorry in advance for this. I'm not sure I want to sing it, but maybe I'll have to. I bought roses. Don't say anything. I bought roses today. And I'm like, no one's home. I just want to get them in water. That's all I want to do. I'm not going to clip them. I'm not going to put that food in, I'm not going to. I'll be home before she's home anyway. Yeah. I just want to get them in water, so they're not just sitting dry for all day.
Oh, I hope I know. I have a guess at where this is going, but go ahead. I think I know what song you're going to end up trying to sing.
Do you?
Yeah.
You're probably right. I grabbed the closest. It's a wine vessel actually, but it's close enough. It's vase adjacent. Mm-hmm. So I grabbed this thing. And I try to stuff the roses into it, but it's tight. And so I sort of take a little bit. I'm going to take one more little extra attempt to jam these things in. Ow!
Uh-huh.
And my brain immediately goes to every rose has its thorn.
Yes, that's exactly right.
My thumb is bleeding.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Right? I mean.
Yep. That's it.
Not a song I care about.
No.
I'd be embarrassed to admit that I know it. Almost.
You can't. I mean, I know radio jingles. I mean, whatever. Like, it's a song that was just everywhere, and it's relatively catchy. I mean,
this is how I get to music sometimes is through lyrics. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing about this moment that has anything to do with the song other than its words.
Right. The rose having thorns.
I'm just like, ow. Oh, I just got pricked by a thorn on a rose. Every rose has its thorn. Like immediately my brain went to that. So what else is out there in the world that could happen to me that will evoke memories of certain songs? I don't know.
I think that is exactly what should happen. I would guess some decent percentage of people would react the exact same way. I don't know, 30% of the population would prick their thumb or a finger on a thorn on a rose, maybe around Valentine's Day even, whatever.
This is the week for it.
And have that I'm not gonna try to. I'm not gonna sing it. I don't want to.
But it's funny that it's the words.
Yeah.
When I wake up in the morning with a song in my head, I'll sometimes wonder, like, why am I thinking of this song? Mm-hmm. But it's almost always lyrics from something, maybe something I read on Twitter before I got out of bed, something else.
Yeah.
It's almost always through the lyrics. I don't know that that's how, like, songwriters do it. I heard Billy Joel say once that, actually it was last night in an old interview I was listening to of his with Howard Stern. He said that in every song he ever wrote, except for maybe one, it was the music first.
Melody first, yeah.
Melody first. Yeah. And then the lyrics. And the exception was We Didn't Start the Fire, which is just like this absolute
rant, basically.
I don't want to be too mean, but
yeah.
He wasn't even complimentary about the song, and it's his song in this conversation.
He just rhymed a bunch of events that happened in his lifetime, basically. And, it's fine. It's fine.
Well,
I guess.
Would you think was it Poison?
Yes.
Would you think that song would have this particular lasting effect, where anybody that sort of pricks their fingers on a rose thorn would think of really?
Yes, that's what I said. Like some percentage of the population, and it's I guess 30%. That might be high. I just think I would almost guarantee that I would do the same thing.
But I'm saying, like, but would the band know that?
Oh.
When you're recording that song, would you ever think,
no,
this would be this way?
No.
40 years later.
That's an unintended consequence, I think.
What a break.
Entirely, yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think you would have thought of that. You certainly wouldn't have been striving for that, but I doubt it would have come to mind. Like, this will stick around because of this, like this circumstance that you experienced. No. I can't imagine that.
But you could. I mean, if somebody really brilliant at it could really think of like a certain phrase mean, the Beatles had a lot of songs where the phrase is unique and memorable 8 days a week, maybe.
Sure.
Or just like, and that is,
that becomes,
they're famous for
that
it.
becomes a thing, right? Yeah.
But anyway, well, so I did have this little accident this morning, but we're fine. Don't worry out there. I've healed already. I'm a quick healer. Warren Sharp coming up. We'll recap the season in the Super Bowl.
Sorry if you said it. Did you did you sing it out loud when it happened, or did the song just go through your head?
I had it in my head, and then there are times, we've talked about this actually, this is weird to me. There are times when, if I'm alone at home, anywhere, alone, and I think of a thing, there are times when I feel compelled to say it out loud.
Right.
For it to, like, rate.
Right.
It doesn't really count as a thought unless
to
I say it out
inanimate
loud.
objects and or the dog.
Just like, I have to say it out loud or else it didn't really happen.
Right.
But that did not happen today. I didn't really want to sing the song to myself in the kitchen while I'm bleeding. Didn't seem like I needed to do that. Warren Sharp after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
For the first time in 12 years, NHL players are back in the Olympics. We've got 2 games going on today, one of which is already in the books as Slovakia took down Finland earlier today 4-1, and then currently going on right now, the host nation, Italy, they are down 2-1 to Sweden. And on Sweden, Sabres' own Rasmus Dahlin, who was already on the score sheet, picking up a secondary assist on Sweden's second goal. For the United States and Tage Thompson, they'll get their Olympic campaign rolling tomorrow when they take on Latvia just after 3. And then before that, Team Canada, they'll begin their campaign against Czechia also tomorrow at 10:40. Some other big notes for the United States today. Women's mogul skiing sees Lise Lemley take gold and Jalen Koff claim silver. And then men's speed skater Jordan Stolz takes gold and sets a new Olympic record in the 1,000-meter skate. Your current medal count does see Norway still in the lead. They are at 13 total medals. Italy in second with 12, and the United States in third with 11. Norway also has the lead in total gold medals with 7. Some Bills news today. The team has announced they have signed quarterback Shane Buechele and wide receiver Jalen Virgil to 1-year deals. We'll get more on the Bills coming up in about an hour when Sal Capaccio joins the show at 5. And then in college hoops later tonight, UB men on the road versus Ball State. That game will get going just after 7 and can be heard over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
You know, I gotta wonder what kind of working relationship you'd have with Satan.
It's Mike Schopp.
I've often wondered that.
Well, he, they, I don't know what his pronouns are, or their pronoun. Anyway, Satan.
And the Bulldog.
What's the upside of doing well?
Well, maybe they're too busy making everyone else's life hell.
Oh, boy.
And
Wow.
you might just be able to do your own thing if you're partnered with Satan.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They're too busy, making Scott Norwood miss field goals.
Oh, come on.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
I tried to remember all the Super Bowl winners in order today, and I got stuck. I hate myself.
You did this during waking hours because this is something I like to do. This is something I fall into doing at like 3:30 in the morning when I can't sleep.
I did for some reason. Now that it's 60,
I start around the Bills 4 in a row and work backwards as far as I can, and then try to go forward as far as I can.
I got stuck on Rodgers Packers.
Yeah,
I just had to look it up.
that'll happen.
No, it shouldn't happen. I should not get stuck remembering Super Bowl winners, but it did happen today, disturbingly. With us now on someone who would not have this affliction, Western Hotline, Warren Sharp. Who better to recap the season, take a peek at next year, and kind of sum things up with us than Warren. Thanks for your time today, Warren. How are you?
Of course, I'm doing great. Happy that the Super Bowl is now in the rearview mirror. For a lot of people, it wasn't a fun game, but if you're betting on the game and be a lot of punts and field goal attempts and things of that nature, and you're making money off of it, then it can be a very fun Super Bowl. So for me, it was a fun Super Bowl, but now I'm definitely looking forward to being able to have a lot more free time to break down these teams, what we saw, some of the offensive trends, and then where I expect these teams to fall out in 2026. So we're just getting into the off season, but I'm happy it's here.
I'm interested to hear more about your process in getting to Seattle or the under or both. It was interesting to me, and I don't study like the trends when it comes to betting, but as we got to Sunday, everybody, to my eyes and ears, were on Seattle and the under. I don't know if the line moved or anything, but we talked 2 weeks worth of conversations, and it just sounded like everybody was on the same page there, and that is how it landed. So was this that game for you, or did I maybe have a different read on it?
No, look, I was envisioning 2 quarterbacks that aren't anywhere close to the caliber of quarterback that have typically played in the Super Bowl over the last 15 plus years, right? For years, it's been Brady and Mahomes and some of the more elite quarterbacks around the NFL meeting in this big game. Here we have a year 2 Drake May, who played the easiest schedule in the NFL against journeyman, Sam Darnold, who has outperformed expectations the last 2 years, but still has had a lot of rough spots in the league, and two defensive-minded head coaches that probably were not just going to open up things offensively against two elite caliber defenses on the other side of the football. And we were going to see a lot of probing and testing with the ground game. And if there wasn't success there, or if the scoreboard dictated it, then we were going to see a little bit more through the air. And that's how I sort of envisioned this game. I felt that the cover 6 that I dug into, that Sean McDermott obviously dug into there for the Week 15 rematch, where he had a lot of success utilizing that to slow down Drake May, was going to be a factor because the Seahawks played the number 3 highest rate of cover 6 in the NFL, and Drake May certainly struggled with that. I expected that the Patriots' run defense was going to really slow down Kenneth Walker. That was one of the few things that I got wrong on the Super Bowl. Kenneth Walker had a great game. Their efficiency on inside zone runs was much better than I was anticipating, especially when you match up personnel on that Patriots D-line versus personnel on the Seahawks offensive line. So they got a little bit of a boost in that regard, but otherwise the game pretty much played out how I was envisioning, even to the very end, where basically I thought that in that late third quarter, fourth quarter, unlike many games where the better team is up on the scoreboard and has the football and can run out the clock, I thought that the better team who might be up on the scoreboard would be getting stuffed and unable to run out the clock and be kicking and punting the ball back to the team that is worse, and that the worst team might actually have more time of possession to work with the football and to play catch up. And so that's what ended up happening there with the New England Patriots. At that point in time, at the fourth quarter, the Seattle Seahawks just sat down a lot of too high and played cover 6 and cover 2 and let Drake May dink and dunk up the field and score some touchdowns late. But for the most part, there was a very creative defensive game plan by Mike Macdonald to start the game with a lot of cover 6. They played a way higher rate cover 6 than they usually do in the first quarter. But then he realized that a lot of his single high was having problems for Drake May. And so they shifted into a lot more cover 3 in the second and third quarters of the game before coming back to a lot of the too high stuff to end it.
Warren, how notable is it in your opinion that this is 2 Super Bowls in a row, or even 3? We talked to Ross Tucker a couple of days ago, and he pointed out how when Kansas City last won, their defense was the stronger unit on that team. And now we know what the Eagles did to the Chiefs last year, and now Seattle and New England largely were carried by their defenses, especially Seattle. Like, is the pendulum swinging back toward you better get that buttoned up, like the days of just I've got this quarterback, I'm going to get the ball last and beat you? I don't know, is that maybe starting to drift away?
It's hard. It is drifting away to a degree in terms of like what was that Rams game where it was like 53-50 or something like that a few years ago, where it's like, okay, every team's going to score no matter what, so you just want to be the last team to score, the final points of the game. It definitely is no longer that. And what we are seeing, I tweeted out actually something earlier today about explosive plays and how explosive plays, if you have a drive that has 0 plays of 15-plus yards, you're only going to score points 16% of the time. But if you have a drive with just one singular play, one play of at least 15 yards, you're going to score points 61% of the time. That is the highest rate since I can track since at least 2000. It just shows the importance of having even one explosive play, what that means to a drive and to offenses. We're seeing a lot of teams that are settling for field goals, and games are a little bit closer because guys can make field goals from longer distance, and teams are starting closer to the field goal range of kickers. And just by nature, if teams are kicking more threes, then those sevens become more important. But we're just not seeing quite as much innovative and brilliant offense. One thing that has been out there, though, that teams are pivoting more into with the too high is attacking them using a lot more under center and a bit heavier personnel to then give the illusion of a run game, to then work play action off of that. And we've seen a lot of teams. You saw Ben Johnson implement that in Chicago with a ton of success this past year. Seattle used this third highest number of under center dropbacks. They won the Super Bowl. And then the Rams obviously were the big team that made a massive pivot this year from Sean McVay's 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver sets to using a lot more 13 personnel with 3 tight ends out there on the field and running play action off of that, and putting Matthew Stafford under center. So teams are making some pivots offensively to have a bit more success. It's always going to be a degree of a cat and mouse game. And right now it seems like it's a little bit lower scoring. But, I think it's still just as competitive and fun as it's always been.
Yes, that's always the most fascinating thing about the NFL, I think, is that it never sits still. Right. And the 3 tight ends point, Warren, I don't know how much more you want to say on this because we want to get to some Bill stuff here, but is there farther that can go? Maybe it's the style of tight end, the body type, or even just the label. I mean, we have Dalton Kincaid, and I don't know, is he really a tight end? He's called one. There's also a contractual element to that's interesting. Can the 13 personnel, whatever you want to call it, like that can that bet? Will we see more of that in the future around the league?
I would like to. My style of offense, my preferred style always is to do something different and do it well, and you will have a lot of success if you're not just running cookie cutter, the same thing as everybody else, and being a bit more unique so that defenses have to figure out a way to prepare just for you. We see it in college football with like the military and service academies to a different degree, right? We know that they're running the football a lot, so defenses have to prepare for that, but it's the style of the run game that they're going up against. For that one singular week, you have to try to figure out how you're going to defend this specific unique style of attack. And that's very difficult for a lot of teams to do and to pivot and, focus as much on that. They're focusing on, 95% of their schedule, not the 5% when they're actually playing your team. And so I do think that teams need to try to figure out other ways to stay multiple and flexible offensively so that if you're playing a defense that is susceptible to a certain kind of heavier personnel grouping or style of run, that you can utilize more things that are going to attack the weakness of the defense on a given week. I think the more that you try to just be really good and do what we do and just do it all the time, I think there's a ceiling to that. But if you are able to pivot and attack the weaknesses and add things on every single week that is attacking weaknesses of defenses and making those defenses have to play your game of football, I think that's where you can get over the top no matter what.
With Warren Sharp at Sharp Football, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. It might, to your point about explosive plays, Warren, in 2025, as you tweeted about, it might surprise Bills fans to learn that they were 4th in the league in this category, and New England 1st, by the way. But, I think the perception here, if not everywhere, about the Bills is that they lack, and this is really disturbing for a team with Josh Allen on it, more of a downfield threat presence, whether that's a receiver necessarily or something about their scheme. I wonder what you might think they should do from here, whether that's a misperception in the first place, and now you've got the free agency and the draft and a new coach, well, at least a new head coach. What should the Bills be thinking about this offseason?
Well, I don't pretend to, on February 11th, have all the answers, and I'm going to spend a lot more time digging into that by the time we get to, the spring and then the summer when I write my 2026 football preview, and hopefully we can come on and I can share all of my findings and suggestions. But what I will say is this, having watched the Bills, obviously a great team with a great quarterback, it feels like you guys make life difficult for yourselves. It feels like far too often I'm watching games and there are ways that you could make life a little bit easier, whether it is by personnel, in the offseason and hitting on some players that you might otherwise be missing on, but more so like during the course of a game, just trying to make life a little bit easier for yourself to have victories that are a little bit more of the layup variety so that Josh Allen can take a little bit of time off at the end of a game and catch his breath and finish the game on the sideline. I don't know. There's just Josh Allen can only be Superman so many times in the course of a game and then so many times over the course of a season so that he is still fresh and healthy in the playoffs to continue to do that. And the accumulation of the wear and the tear adds up over the course of each individual game. And if you approach it from the perspective of we never know when he's going to get injured in a game, but we do know that the more snaps he plays, the more likely where he has to be going all out. He has to be running with the football. He has to be buying time in the pocket to work the ball to a receiver who's not getting separation. Anything other than like handing the football off to the running back, right? The more he's doing those other things, the more likely he is over the course of time to get an injury, and that injury to potentially stack up upon itself. We saw a quarterback like Sam Darnold deal with an injury late in the season and end up relying on an elite defense to get him through things. We saw Drake May get injured and have to deal with his shoulder injury, and we still don't really know the extent of it. Like, I don't know how much it encumbered him in the Super Bowl. I know that it was shot up beforehand. Is he going to need some sort of hush-hush procedure to repair anything this offseason? Like, how badly was it actually injured? We don't know. They took him off the injury report, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. So, you know, as healthy as you can get a team, and especially a quarterback like Josh Allen, to the finish line to allow him to compete in that last game, you need to do that. And it starts with trying to make life very easy in games and win them in the first half. You know, they say you can't win a game in the first quarter. You can't win. I forget which coach said, can we win a game in the first quarter? No. Can we win it in the second quarter? No. Maybe it was one of the Harbaughs or something. But I'm here to tell you, you can kind of win a game in the first half, right? Like you can build a big lead that might be insurmountable in the first half. And if you play it close to the vest and invite too much uncertainty late in games and have to struggle, that's not going to be beneficial.
Well, I bet a lot of our audience is recalling just what getting through the Jacksonville wildcard game was like for Alan Warren, and the image of him walking out to Joe Brady's introductory news conference on crutches and a walking boot. You know, and I would think everything you just said about, you know, the attrition there only gets emphasized more as a player ages. I mean, he's maybe crested his athletic peak at this point, roughly maybe halfway through his career. So it's something to keep an eye on. All of the things that you've said here about their offense and their tactics and how they use Allen, do you think elevating Joe Brady to head coach was that warranted? Was that a good idea?
This is a tricky question, at least in my opinion. And granted, I'm far removed from the Bills nation of fans, so I don't really know how you guys internally there inside the station feel about this. But what I can just tell you is, at certain points, if you're making a change, like you're changing out the head coach, who you've had a lot of success with, but you're like, we need something else to get us over the top. Keeping the same GM there who's drafted everybody and allowing him to hire his next coach and just kind of doing what it felt like is just like, everybody take a step forward in line. You know, we're all going to give you new titles, but everybody moves ahead a little bit. Is that the sweeping change that you really needed? That's something that comes to mind. Now, I understand that you didn't necessarily need sweeping change, some people might argue, because you're so close. The offense was really good last year. You look at a lot of different metrics, you're going to see that you have one of the best offenses in the NFL. Does it really need to change by leaps and bounds and overhaul completely? Possibly not. But there are elements here that needed to change, and I'm really curious to see if Brady is going to bring that change here. There was, the comment that I heard, Josh needs somebody who's going to give him the harsh realities about things and not just be his friend. And you need I don't know if Brady is the guy that's going to be able to do that or not. The one thing that I do wonder about, and I just hope that this does not become the case, but your point that you just made about Josh Allen getting older turns on this light bulb for me. Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen is far more talented, the passer, than Jalen Hurts is. But Jalen Hurts decided that he does not want to run the football quite as much because it wears him down and it impacts his career. And he wants to prolong his career, so he didn't want to run the football as much. And he talked about that to the staff, and so they reduced the designed runs for Jalen Hurts. And I will just tell you this. When you do that sort of thing, you really do lower the floor of a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, and you're taking away a huge weapon that is very difficult to defend, which is a quarterback on a designed pass play who is going to attack that defense in any manner that the defense is giving him. And sometimes attacking that defense on a design pass play is not by throwing the football. It's by taking an open run lane and punishing the defense that way. So the defense has to adjust, and then you can take advantage of that with your arm through the air once they've made those adjustments on plays after that. Josh Allen needs to continue to be able to maintain that dual threat ability where warranted, because if you start to minimize that as he gets older, he's going to have to figure out other ways to adapt, obviously, and I don't doubt that he can, but he's not going to be the same caliber of threat that he currently is. And so, I don't know that necessarily relates to the question, but I absolutely think that they need to figure out a way to support Josh Allen a bit more on all sides of the ball with receivers, with defense. But you don't want to take away something like that from him, because that is what, if you guys are looking to win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years, right, with Josh Allen still being where he is, his legs are a weapon that most quarterbacks do not have, and you should take advantage of that advantage.
Interesting you brought up Hurts. I saw a stat yesterday about him. I mean, I play a lot of fantasy, Warren, and after week 3 this year, he had 4 rushing touchdowns, including the playoff game in which he had none. I mean, Jalen Hurts, he was kind of pretty much Allen's equal in that department over the last 5 years or so. Trevor Lawrence had 9 from week 5 on last year, rushing touchdowns. So I'm actually on deck, Bulldog. I know Bulldog's excited, whether I take Caleb Williams or Jalen Hurts with that pick. Last thing, Warren, last minute or two here, if you will. Is it different now looking forward to next season in terms of the AFC or the entire league? Did we turn a corner from a league where the previous 4 AFC division winners were the previous season's division winners? This year was more scrambled. Is that going to stick?
I hope it does to a degree, because not that we want to see quarterbacks get injured, right? We saw that in too many teams around the league where that happened, and so it kind of brought more teams closer to the pack. But if healthy, I absolutely hope that we get a more competitive league. I mean, it's not very I know, Bills, you want to win the AFC East every single year, but from outside the league, it's not fun to just watch the Chiefs run through the AFC West every single year. It's more fun to have there be competition. I think I was looking at some of the odds to win the divisions this upcoming season, and I'm a bit surprised. The Kansas City Chiefs are plus 175. The Chargers have better odds to win the AFC West right now than do the Kansas City Chiefs. You and the New England Patriots are neck and neck for who's going to win the AFC East. You were favored by 2.5 points against the Patriots in New England in that Week 15 game, and you ended up winning that game. I'm surprised, frankly, that the Patriots are viewed as close to you guys right now in the AFC East. I know that they're coming off of a Super Bowl, but they're also going to be playing a much more difficult schedule, and I think that's going to make it more difficult to expect that they're going to repeat as division champions. I would definitely feel a lot better about you guys if I'm putting money down on the AFC East winner than I would if I was going to place that on the New England Patriots. So I think there are some teams that were down a little bit last year that are probably going to move a little bit closer ahead. But overall, the whole landscape, I absolutely think that we're going to see a very competitive year like this year, and less like some of the years in the prior where, the divisions just weren't as competitive. I think one thing alone will do that this year, and that's just the massive influx of new coaches around the league. There are 19 new offensive coordinators around the league calling plays. It's going to be incredible. There's going to be a big learning curve. And having talked to some of these coaches that are with new teams this year, they are scrambling big time, trying to figure out who their personnel are, what type of offense they're going to be able to run here, who they need to identify for the draft, evaluate the draft prospects with the combine coming up in just a couple of weeks. There are so many teams that are going to be scrambling here on the offensive side of the ball. I think that's going to bring everybody closer together as well.
Thank you, Warren. Anything new coming out soon? This is maybe when you take some time off. I don't know.
Yeah, no, nothing new. We're going to be doing just draft coverage, a lot of it, but I do get to take a little bit of a breather before I start writing my upcoming preview book. The 500 pages doesn't get done overnight, so I will start working on that probably in a few weeks after the combine.
Right. You mentioned when that comes out, you'd like to come on again, and we'd love to do that, of course. So we look forward to that.
Sounds good.
And Lord Reeves is always welcome, by the way.
Absolutely. He's incredible.
Yes. Thank you, Warren. Enjoy your break if you get one.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Warren Sharp, at Sharp Football Analysis. He's a really good follow. There are lots of things he tweets that I just hadn't thought of, and that's what makes him good. I'm not saying that I should have thought of them, or that's not exactly the measuring stick, but just I like him for that, like new ideas and stats and things. First Super Bowl, for instance, this one, since Ravens-Giants, 25 years prior, where a team's first 10 drives went scoreless. That was New England against the Seahawks. Very good. Always a pleasure to talk to Warren Sharp. Sal Capaccio at 5. You can join us next, 803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
NHL players are back at the Olympics for the first time in 12 years. We've got 2 games on the schedule today, one of which is already in the books. Slovakia took down Finland earlier today, 4-1. And currently going on right now, Italy and Sweden deadlocked at 2 goals apiece. We are late in the second period. Rasmus Dahlin for Sweden, already on the score sheet, though, picking up a secondary assist on Sweden's second goal. Coming up tomorrow, the United States and Tage Thompson will get their Olympics rolling when they take on Latvia at 3 p.m. And then before that, Team Canada will begin their campaign when they take on Czechia at 10:40. Some of the big storylines for the United States at today's games. Women's mogul skiing sees Lise Lemley taking gold, while Jalen Koff claims silver. And men's speed skater Jordan Stolz goes and gets gold and a new Olympic record in the 1,000-meter speed skate. Your current medal count does see Norway in the lead with 13, Italy in second at 12, and the United States right behind them in third with 11. Norway, though, also does have the most golds with 7. And then in college hoops later tonight, UB men on the road versus Ball State just after 7, and that game can be heard over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Joe Brady was the young fella that was coming along, the next Sean McVay.
Sure.
So now you've got a partnership with Josh Allen that you know is going to go incredibly from that standpoint, but now you're the head coach. And how's the rest of the locker room? How's the defense going to respond to you? Are you ready for this task? This is not, make the divisional round. Great job in your first year, Joe. No. This is win it all and get there soon. I am fascinated by the Joe Brady hire.
Mike Garafolo, a lot of energy. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Sweden and Italy in Olympic hockey 2-2. Late third. Bulldog guaranteed a Swedish win.
Late second. Late second. Yeah,
I meant to say late second. Sorry. Shots are now 39-11 in favor of Sweden, and that's because it's gotten closer. At one point, it was 33-4.
Yeah,
so pretty even since 33-4.
It was 2-2, and it was 33-4. The Swedish goalie, I think it's Gustafsson, had given up 2 goals on 4 shots.
Yeah,
that's not a good save percentage.
The Italian goalie is a Ducks prospect.
Oh, okay,
Ciara.
He's huge.
Well, you see that. Damian Clara.
Clara, okay. Yeah, he might be. Do you have it? Is he 6'7"? He looks like
6'7".
Huge.
Good one.
He looks like 6'7", somewhere in there.
6'6".
Okay.
Well, he's the story of this game.
So far, I would say that's correct. Yes.
Sweden would be the third choice in the tournament?
I think so.
There's a goal.
If Finland,
Dahlin made that goal. He didn't score it, but he made it.
All right, good. If Finland had Barkov, I feel like they and Sweden would be kind of neck and neck. But yeah, I think Sweden is although I don't know. I mean, with the way this is started off, maybe it's just going to be like, the favorites don't exist. I don't know. But yeah, I think Sweden is the closest to Canada and the U.S.
Nylander is the goal scorer.
Roster-wise.
He was iffy to play. There's Dahlin breaking through. Nylander
he came through from the point and got through a few guys and set up the chance. That's right. Well, good for him. He is on the number 1 pair. We talked about this briefly yesterday. He and Forsling from Florida are the top pair. It lines up. I mean, 4 Nations, it was Carlson and Hedman, but Hedman's coming off an injury. And Carlson, they might have finally recognized, still has a role on the team, power play 1 even, but time to start, leaning into the younger guys. So,
do you catch yourself stereotyping these national teams? For instance, Finland-Slovakia was the first game. And to me, I think of these teams very similarly. Finland outranks Slovakia, historically, in hockey, international hockey. But they're both, to me, teams that are defense first.
Yeah.
But my perception of that is very likely outdated because I haven't thought about it or really analyzed it in many years. So when I saw that was the first game, I'm like, okay, well, these are 2 teams that I think of as more defense first. Is that wrong?
I don't know. I can't. I wouldn't want to offer an opinion about Slovakia. I think that's definitely true about Finland. I mentioned yesterday, like they're always in close games. And today they got kind of rolled. I mean, 4-1, 5-1, 4-1. But they normally play a pretty conservative style, and it works for them.
To a point.
Like they have, I think maybe there's more of a buy-in system-wise with the NHL guys that we play this way, whereas when you get to like one-off international competition with basically all-star teams representing every country, there's not as much cohesion. And so that, I think, works to Finland's advantage in these tournaments. So that is how I it's possible I'm outdated too, but that's how I would view them.
Okay.
That's how they were in the Four Nations. So I doubt that they're different now, just, not even a year later.
How about Joel Armia still having a career?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. Darcy.
I heard he's not on Montreal anymore, and I can't remember what team he's on now. It's not that important. I just know he
L.A.
Okay, yeah. He was here with
LA.
He was here with the Kings. Yeah. I think someone I follow on Twitter mentioned they couldn't believe he only played one NHL game here.
Yeah.
And I also was surprised by that. I wouldn't have guessed it was more than 20, but I didn't think it was just one.
Do you remember the game?
I don't at all.
I want to say it was against Carolina, but I wouldn't want to bet on it. Just for some reason, he was somebody whose name semi-casual fans knew because they were into their playoff drought, but he was sort of the next one, Armia, and that did not really happen. It was against Detroit, so red.
All right.
So it never happened, and then he was traded, right? Like he hardly played one game, like you said.
Right.
Also, we got Ristolainen in our lives again.
That's right. Yeah.
What is better? Just
wasn't Armia part of the? I'm sorry, I just want to go. He's part of the big Tyler Myers, Evander Kane trade.
I think
Bogosian,
so.
Yeah. Right. Okay. That was an anniversary of that, just maybe today or yesterday.
Okay. You take a little break from hockey, you come back, you sit back down, and so much of it is the same. There's Ed Olczyk's voice. There's Ed Olczyk talking up how good Ristolainen has been for the Flyers this year multiple times. I'm excited to be back in a world where I'm hearing Ristolainen's name and how good he's been for the 13th place Philadelphia Flyers. Just was like a warm blanket this morning. Come on. I mean, a little bit, that poor guy, because he's just never gotten lucky with a team, but he's had a role in that.
He's had some part in that, yeah.
For most of his career, because he gets this credit for being good, because he's good name, good face, big, and, whoops. So, nothing against him, but Finland loses to...
Nothing against him. You're sure he's terrible.
Nothing against him. It's not personal. Just... Right. What's personal about that is long over, which is people telling me that he was actually good, and come on. There are a few things you can't get away with, and Stefan Gilmore was one of them. Ristolainen was one of them. I just know that no, we really can't talk about this together, you and me. We can't really have this conversation. Anyway, I'm excited about the tournament. Women too. The U.S. women dominated Canada yesterday. We had that on. We were sitting here.
They just showed, while you were out of the room during the break, they showed a graphic with their 4 results. It's 5-1, 5-0, 5-0, 5-0.
Yes.
They're 20-1 is their aggregate on 4 games.
I saw the goal they gave up. I think it was against Czech. And they were on a power play, and it was one of those where the puck got released right as the woman came out of the box. And so she went in alone and sniped it.
Yeah.
That's the only goal they've given up in the tournament in 4 games. Canada had chances. That game, U.S. could have poured in more goals yesterday, and Canada could have scored a few. They just didn't. But yes, 20-1, right?
Yep.
Is the
goal.
Yeah,
20-1 is the aggregate on the 4 games. Yeah. These I've seen now replays of the 2 goals that Italy has scored, and they both just sort of leaked through the goalie.
Yep.
Fluky, just not dude, come on.
This is Minnesota's goalie?
Tighten that up. Yeah, he's one of them. Yeah.
All right. USA tomorrow at 3. All their games tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday are 3 o'clock or 3:10.
Okay.
USA men. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. We'll take a break and talk to Sal at 5. This is WGR. What did you think of Warren Sharp's takes? Admittedly, didn't have a lot on next year yet, but pointed out that the Bills, in our discussion, the Bills ranked top 5 in explosive plays, and that he would take them over New England right now.
Well, so would we, right? Wait, how did the reverse AFC power rankings go yesterday? Exactly?
Buffalo was 1.
Buffalo was
New
1.
England was 4.
Yeah,
I think.
I would expect you'll hear a lot of that objectively out there this year. I think the schedule, New England, it might even, it probably will be exaggerated to the point where you'll want to raise your hand and say, like, okay, they're not going to be that bad. But the way it ended for New England, just the entire playoffs was not impressive, really, from the quarterback specifically, and that's the thing that still matters the most. I mean, I did like talking and hearing Warren talk about how, it's changing, right? From when the Bills first got good to now, I think the league has changed a lot. But I think New England is going to get dinged for looking like that, and the quarterback looking like that, and the schedule that they played. And I think a lot of that will even look worse. Like, as you go on, you look at the playoff games and maybe not think about the fact that it was snowing sideways in the second half of the Denver game, and that even the home game against Houston was pretty sloppy weather-wise. It's just going to look – you'll just go look at the box score and go like, oh, man, wow. They really didn't do anything in these games. And that's not entirely fair, but I think it happens over the course of an offseason. So I'm with him. I think the Bills, I think sitting here today, even though we've got so much change, a new coach, changes on the offensive line in the offing, perhaps not as large as a Dion Dawkins trade, I don't think, like we talked about already earlier today, but McGovern and Edwards are free agents, so they're going to have stuff to do here that could have a big impact. I mean, especially that line has been their rock for a few years running. I mean, personnel changed, but the guys that took over stayed right where they were. Once Morse left, McGovern moved over and Edwards stepped in, and they just sort of kept going, and those 5 dudes hardly missed any games. Two years in a row.
We'll talk to Sal in about 12 minutes. If you missed yesterday's show, there was one big controversy, or Monday, this bet that I won with kids. At the Super Bowl party.
Right, yeah.
And 2 updates on that.
The dice game.
We had my son's friends over, 16-year-olds at least. I had friends of my own there, poker players. Like, it was just kind of being talked about whether we'd play cards or whatever. And one of the boys was, like, kind of in the mood. So I had a pair of 20-sided dice, and I said, odd or even for $20. And they, two boys, I don't think my son participated, but his 2 friends did.
He knows better than to gamble with Dad.
They both said, I don't remember if it was odd or even. They both said odd, and it was even. So, to their credit, they each quickly handed me $20. It wasn't going to be like, I wonder if he'll forget. So, I'm not sure I should have taken the money. And at the time, I was thinking we would play some more. But we never did, and then they left, and I still had the money. So 2 developments on that. One is, before she left for work this morning at like 6:45, my wife asked me if I had money that I could lend her. She needed cash for something. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, because I know she objected to my taking their kids' money, I said, well, I hope I have more than $40 because I'm not going to give you that. If you don't think I should have it, then I probably shouldn't give it to you. But I did have, a 5. All she needed was a 5, so I gave her the 5. And then I went grocery shopping today, and there's a woman who I love to see working at the store when I'm there, Yvonne. And she was in the section today where it's like self-checkout, but they have somebody that will help you do it.
Watching, and you need ID for alcohol or whatever. Yeah.
I always ask her to help me do it, so I like to talk to her.
Yeah.
I said, listen, let me just run something by you. 16-year-olds at my house for the game. $20, make a bet, I win, and I take the money. What do you think? And she slowly turned her head and looked at me and said, bet's a bet. How are they going to learn? Exactly. This woman, I love her.
You would.
Nailed it. Exactly right.
I'm almost sure you should have given them the money back. Myself.
Almost sure.
I'm almost sure. Yeah. We didn't get a chance to bounce this off Ross, which I really was disappointed about, because now we won't talk to him and it'll be gone by then.
We did 20 minutes on his website. It's kind of hard to do other random things with Ross when he's going to do 20 minutes on his website that he's pimping.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to give him his space.
That's a certain kind of point.
I didn't want to go back to something off topic. But with so much time spent
but
on.
There's been no contact with the parents of these young gentlemen.
No.
So no, maybe they don't even know.
I'm happy to. It's not that much money. Like I feel like they're probably both fine, these kids. But I'm happy to have a conversation. I don't feel great about it. The plan was we'll play some more later. You know. But
you mean you can take them for 100?
I wasn't going to do that. But if I'd lost the dice roll, I would have handed them the money. That would have been the end of it.
Of course you would have. Right.
No questions asked.
But that's
no controversy at all.
Your roles, your roles are very, very different there.
That's what makes it tough. I mean, if you're thinking the rules should be different for the two of us, then I don't know. Let's do something else. Let's play sorry or something instead of actually betting. Sal Capaccio after sports here on WGR.
NHL players are back in the Olympics for the first time in 12 years, and the men's side of the tournament got underway today. We've got 2 games on the schedule, one of which is already in the books. Slovakia taking down Finland 4-1 earlier today, and currently going on right now. The third period just got underway. Sweden leads Italy just by a score of 3-2, though Rasmus Dahlin for the Sabres has 2 assists. Looking to the rest of the week, the United States and Tage Thompson, they'll get their Olympics campaign rolling tomorrow when they take on Latvia at 3 p.m. And before that, Team Canada will begin their campaign when they take on Czechia at 10:40. And then some other big notes from the United States today. Women's mogul skiing sees Liz Lemley taking gold and Jalen Koff claiming silver. The Americans going 1 and 2 there. And men's speed skater Jordan Stolz takes gold and sets a new Olympic record in the 1,000 meter. Your current medal count sees Norway still in the lead with 13, Italy in second with 12, and the United States is in third with 11. Norway, though, leads the way with gold medals with 7. We do have some Bills news today. The team did announce they have signed quarterback Shane Buechele and wide receiver Jalen Virgil to 1-year deals. We'll get the latest on the Bills as Sal Capaccio will join the show next. And in college hoops, UB men, they are on the road versus Ball State. That game will tip off just after 7 and can be heard over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Well, I guess I have to admit, as unfortunate as that clip is, ethnically, it did remind me just now as we prepare to talk to Sal that earlier today I actually called and spoke on the phone with Sneaky Joe because we were discussing strategy for betting curling.
Of course you were.
And I told him that I liked both Italian teams at their price. They're both kind of long shots. And his response was something like, all right, I can get behind that. And I realized it wasn't because they were long shots, it's because he's Italian.
Yeah.
He was into it because he's sort of like, maybe second favorite team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sal, does this speak to you? Are you sort of more a fan of the Italian teams than, I don't know, Germany?
Are you on edge as the third period of this hockey game is starting and Italy is only 1 goal down against Sweden, even though they're getting outshot 47-11?
I say Germany, by the way, kind of at random, not thinking like your wife. So maybe Germany wasn't the right comp there.
Oh, she's totally into she's going to be rooting for Germany, and she's a JJ Peterka fan, Max is and that and everything. But I will say this. I'm watching the game. I'm like, wow, the Italians, that's pretty cool. I really kind of don't care who wins. I think it's a cool story, right?
Yeah.
And then when they scored to make it 2-2, I tweeted an Italian flag, a hockey stick, and an eyeball emoji. And of course, someone says, how are you not supporting Rasmus Dahlin? I'm like, how does that mean I'm not supporting Rasmus Dahlin? What do you mean? I just think it's kind of cool, right? It is. No, I don't really care who wins, but don't we all love upsets in sports like that? I mean, unless you're really invested in your team, this is cool.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yes, 100%. If Italy were hanging with the United States like this, I think I'd be pulling for Italy.
Am I allowed to root for the USA over the Sabres? Am I in trouble if I root for USA over Sweden? Or
right, exactly. I'm thinking, wait a minute, is this same person going to be rooting against the USA because of Rasmus Dahlin? And and he's like, everything he went through. Of course, we all know that. I'd love it if Rasmus Dahlin, who by the way already has 2 assists, if he gets 3 goals and 2 assists and Italy wins, I think that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, and we have Thompson, so maybe I should have picked Canada or something.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so onward with the Olympics. It's 3-2, and the shots are 48-11.
Oh, this goalie who's playing out of his head looks like he's very slow getting up right now.
He'll be fine.
I don't want to dwell on that. Okay, let's move along.
He'll be fine. So,
and Bulldog, by the way, I was in the same boat as you. I was looking for the game. People are tweeting about the game, and I'm like, I can't find the damn game. People are tweeting about where are they watching this? They must have been watching online because I did the same thing you did at the same time I was listening. I put it on USA because it said it was supposed to be on, but actually there was something that had run over, skating or skiing or whatever.
I think was going over.
Yeah, and then they went to it, but people were watching it already, and I'm like, why am I not able to watch this game while everybody else is? I'm guessing it was online.
Right. I said something rather matter-of-factly like, Italy, I don't like their chance of staying in this game, and Zach's in there nodding at me like look, they're up 1-0. I'm like, what? The game has started? Right. Why don't I have it on?
Exactly.
You too. This is adorable.
Yeah, I know.
Find your streaming services. Sal, I know on your podcast, you spent some time on the Bills and the salary cap. Can you give us an overview as we sort of settle into the offseason here, what they're facing?
Yeah, the Bills are probably right now, it depends on like kind of what site you look at, and it's always a bit of a unknown exact number, right? I mean, you don't get it necessarily even from the Bills when you ask, but sometimes Brandon Beane will he'll volunteer some of that information a little bit, in a general respect. And then you can go to Over the Cap. You can go to Spot Track. Those are the two main ones. You'll generally find the Bills about maybe $9 million over the cap right now, somewhere around there. So let's just say $9 to $10 million is where they live right now over the cap. That is with the projected rise in the cap, by the way, not just right now, like as the cap goes up. Brandon Beane said to Jeremy and Joe when he was on last week, as of right now, they are over the cap. He didn't give the number, but they're going to have to do some work. So there's where they stand right now. However, as we know, there are always levers to pull. Generally, the Josh Allen lever is the one that everybody goes to. I don't think it's as easy as this year to do it this year as it has been in other years because he just signed that massive extension last year. And, he is getting older, right? So you have to be careful with these things. However, you could reduce his cap hit from $56 million down to about $45 million and save $10 million right off the top right there. That would obviously lower his base salary now, lower his salary cap now, but push more money into future years. So you could do that. That's one way to do it. I think Dawson Knox is the biggest player that people look at for this year, looking at his cap number of $17 million. And, okay, you can't live with that. You got to move on from Dawson Knox. You can save, $10 million, I think it is, by, releasing him. I would say this, though, about Dawson Knox. I think the Bills really like him. I think the Bills would love to have him on the team, and he has a $9 million base salary. That's a conversion I think that they would be interested in. To me, you go to Dawson Knox and either ask him to take a salary cut or you convert it. You bring him down to, 1 point something or $2 million, and you can save probably right there a good $6, $7, $8 million, depending on how you structure that deal. Then there's some other guys around the roster you look at that say, could you outright release them? The first name I get to is Curtis Samuel. Mm-hmm. You save $6 million by moving on from Curtis Samuel. Yes, you take on a $3 million dead cap hit. I don't think that matters at this point. I mean, you live with that.
Yeah.
You move on from Curtis Samuel. And the other one is Taylor Rapp. Now, I don't know what Jim Leonard's plan is at safety, but based on Taylor Rapp, his history here the last couple of years, last year didn't go so well. He was put on IR at the end of the year, a couple injuries. You could save $3 million by moving on from Taylor Rapp. That's $9 million just in those two players on releasing them.
Yeah, that
sounds fine.
That almost has to happen. Samuel and Rapp. Knox, I don't think Knox, they'll have to do something with the contract, like you said.
Yes.
I think divesting themselves of him entirely, considering Kincaid's health, I just can't see that being realistic right now because that would put them squarely in the market for another tight end. Either in the draft or in free agency, and I don't think you really want to get into that.
Does it have to?
What do you mean?
Does it have to put them in the market? Will they need a tight end if they didn't have Knox?
Yeah, I mean,
really?
I'm not going to rely on Kincaid, and Hawes is just Hawes. Like I think I would need a starting tight end.
I don't know.
A better pass catching tight end than Jackson Hawes.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think because. And maybe even better than Dawson Knox, but he's still very serviceable. He played well last year, Dawson Knox. He filled in admirably.
He
was a guy they relied on. I think he could still play, and he's a guy you could put in all situations. They love guys like that. The fly in the ointment with a lot of this is, now granted on offense it's a little different because it's Joe Brady. You could say, I'm sure that he probably likes some of these players he's had, but if you go back to last year right at this time, Sean McDermott just raved about Dawson Knox, what he meant to the locker room. But Sean McDermott's not here anymore. And I'm not saying that other people in the organization wouldn't feel the same about Dawson Knox. In fact, I bet they do. But you just don't know if the feelings are the same on some of these guys,
right?
As if that head coach was still here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because McDermott was so culture-y, right?
Yes,
and it's not to say that Brady's going to want to divorce himself from that entirely, because it's been a strength of the team. But Knox could be a guy that a lot of people over there think like, it's too much of that emphasis. Yeah, Mike, I would feel differently if Kincaid could play 70% of the snaps for this team in any of these seasons, but he's not. He's like half of that. I mean, I just can't trust him to be a reliable guy to be on the field. And then Hawes, I'm down to Jackson Hawes as my only tight end.
Well, I guess I would say that durability is the issue.
Yeah.
Because if there isn't, and anybody can get hurt. So I don't know. Like, is it chronic? Can we never imagine a day, or count on a day is the better way to put it, that Kincaid is like reliable? If you knew that he was, though, I don't think you have an issue at all.
I agree. I just don't think there's any way you can know that he is.
No, you can't know. I don't know. I think
and he is coming off the
question.
PCL that, there is a debate on whether or not he should be having surgery or not, and he's not having it.
Right. Yeah, I just feel like he's in a glass case that could shatter at any moment. So that leaves you in a tough spot with Knox. I think that's really the point I'm making.
Yeah. And I would say this, just on this tight end situation, they've made it known now that they're going to pick up the fifth-year option on Dalton Kincaid.
Right.
So, they believe in Dalton Kincaid. I think it's so far as that much, right, Mike? Which is you don't pick up the fifth-year option if you don't believe that you can keep him healthier than he has been. There's no doubt about that. Now, that's not for until 2027. It's also, by the way, I think very smart. I mean, it's only like $8-something million to pick up that fifth-year option on him. And, you get him for another year in a rookie deal. That gives you a whole year plus to figure out what you want to do.
For sure, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't mind that at all. And I do think there's space here to talk about what Dawson Knox does mean. Look, I mean, Dalton Kincaid, when he went through what he went through last year and the end of the Kansas City game in Kansas City, Tyler Dunn wrote the piece, and there were people talking about how much, like, Dawson Knox was a big part of lifting him out of that. That does matter to people, and I do think it would matter to the organization that this is a guy that's been here. And, oh, by the way, I mean, him and Josh are very tight. I'm not saying Josh is making the call, but I think Josh is really comfortable with him as opposed to what we've seen with, let's say, a Keon Coleman so far through 2 years.
So then are you sort of, Sal, where Bulldog sounds like he is on Hawes? Like, just that's a no? He's not somebody that could hold up?
I do not think this organization views Jackson Hawes right now as a player they want to use in the passing game like that because he's such a good blocker. Like, that's just not his role. He can go down the field and make a couple of plays and catches, but he has a distinct role as a blocking tight end in this offense who then can catch some passes. He's more than Lee Smith, right? I mean, I don't want to paint him like that, but he's not Dawson Knox.
Right.
Oh, Lee Smith, tears in his eyes, I guess. Well, I just know that this will be an interesting one to talk about. It already is. Like, a lot of these teams, who's A.J. Barner, right? Like, who are some of these guys, these tight ends that pop up? We talked to Warren Sharp earlier, and I was thinking about the Rams when he was on, and Davis Allen, and Terrence Ferguson, and Higbee, and Parkinson. Like, I don't know. If they do divest of Knox, which I think you're saying they probably won't, right? That's where
I don't think they will.
Okay.
No, I think they'll restructure his deal in some way, shape, or form, even if that means an extension. He's got 1 year left on it.
I just want to say I think there are guys for what he does, for what he brings, and at his price point, no.
Well, the price point,
it's never been a good deal.
And it's glaringly, it's awful right now. Like, it has to change. To me, like, he's not coming back on that contract. There's no way in hell. No. I would release him and eat the money if he refuses to work with them or a pay cut or anything. I mean, I just can't imagine he would, because he's got the third highest cap figure for a tight end in the league. I mean, it's before free agency, but still, that is not going to stand. Like,
and I'll make this point. Like, he met and married a girl from Western New York. They're having a child. They just had a child, I should say. Like, he loves Buffalo. I think that's more of an easier sell. But you're right, Bulldog. If he draws a line in the sand and goes, I want to go back to my hometown of Tennessee and play for Brian Daboll, that's a little different story, right? That could happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just think that's an easier sell. The other thing about it is, if you do move on from Dawson Knox outright, sure, you save 9.6, which is a lot. You'd still be counting $7.4 million against your cap for him not being on your team, right? So I think you have to consider all that.
Yeah.
I was on ADP chasing last night. Davis Maddock brought up this stat. How many different starting quarterbacks do you think there were in the league this year? Bulldog, I know you watched the show, so you heard this. How many different quarterbacks started a game this year? Just snap guess.
56.
47.
62.
Woo!
I win.
62. I guessed, like Sal's, I guessed 48 maybe, something like that. Wait, 62, like almost 2 per team.
I had seen the number, and I didn't remember it. I just knew it was really high, which is why I went where I went.
I'm thinking about Trubisky. Is he a priority for the Bills to bring back, in your opinion, Sal?
No, I don't think he's a priority. I think they'd like to have him back. You can't make him a priority. You have too many things around your roster going on. I think that they do like Shane Buechele as a backup. I think they like his moxie, a lot of what he's made up of. I'm not saying that they even feel that they could get through 4 games with him necessarily, but I think that they have to start protecting themselves. You saw that already by them signing Shane Buechele today to think about the possibility of going in a different direction. I don't think it's got to be Trubisky, but it's probably got to be someone of that ilk, somebody who has a little skin in the game, has played a little bit in this league, been in some moments. I think they have to at least think about it that way if it's not him necessarily.
What do you think his market will be?
Right.
He looked good in the finale, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not married to, like, they have to bring him back at all, but I'm certainly more open to it. I'm more open than I was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I hated this idea. So, what do I know? I just wonder, like, is he someone who gets a tire kick as a competition somewhere, or is he just now settled into – because when he was here and then left here, he went to Pittsburgh with a chance to start. And that went terribly, and then he ended up back here eventually. Is he squarely in, like, journeyman backup guy now?
I think he is, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a team out there, given what Mike just said with that stat, who says, you come here, we're going to give you a look at it. Like, you're not going to obviously start in Buffalo. You can live a comfortable life holding the clipboard for Josh Allen, but you can come here and try to compete here. I mean, this, guys, smells like a little exercise we can do in the offseason and the starting quarterback thing we've done, right? Like, we could do it that way. And because I'm looking around, I'm thinking, well, where would be the opportunities? And I don't have them all right in front of me, but there's got to be a few spots where maybe, is that the Jets, let's say, right? I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, because look what's going on with them. What's Miami's situation? What's the Cardinals' situation with the quarterbacks they currently have and, wanting to move off? Like, I think there are spots where maybe he would get a look, but it's probably not come in here and we're giving you starting money by any stretch.
Right. But in an offseason where we expect teams to be eager to try to, I know San Francisco is already saying we're not going to trade Mac Jones, but, teams say a lot of stuff in February that they end up doing in March or April. But, like, if Mac Jones, Malik Willis, if these guys are interesting ideas for teams because there just aren't enough quarterbacks to sit in all the chairs, then Trubisky, that lifts everybody up a tier, maybe, So maybe he does get some attention like that. I mean, he's older than those guys.
I do agree with you that, like, I'm fine with Mr. Trubisky as a backup. I think he's actually the quintessential backup for a team like the Buffalo Bills. He's kind of the perfect guy for it.
Clayton Tune started for Green Bay. So did Malik Willis, who's going to get paid somewhere, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody, Tanner McKee, Riley Leonard, Phillip Rivers, 3 times.
Right.
A lot of guys got kicks at it this year. Mike Giannitti from Spot Track this morning on the station brought up Dion Dawkins and the mechanics of trading Dawkins. Okay. I mean, say it's a fantasy question and it's someone else, just a random name from anywhere. I get it. Age, contract, the usuals. Could the Bills ever trade Dion Dawkins, Sal?
I'm going to say this with all due respect to people, including my good buddy Matt Perino, who brought it up on a podcast that we were on recently. I just don't see where this could happen. I don't. There's a lot of reasons why I can't see it happening. And when, Matt brought it up, and I'm not saying it's, like, impossible. Sure. I mean, like, you do have to start thinking about new creative ways. So I get, like, why you want to think outside the box. And then this rises to other people starting to talk about it a little bit around. But, guys, first of all, let's take it this way. Let's just do it that way. You trade Dion Dawkins. If it's before June 1st, which would be draft or whatever, it's a $27 million dead cap hit, and you save. It's actually a 29 because you don't even save any money at all. You have to include another $2 million essentially. If you wait until after June 1st to trade him, you do save 16. But guess what? You don't get any of that money until June 1st. What good is it to you at that point? and you're taking on $9 million in dead cap space for a player who is still a good player. Maybe he wasn't as good as last year. I don't disagree with that. But you're taking all that on. And then the other part of this is I fully expect the Bills not to be able to re-sign Connor McGovern or David Edwards. Ooh. Are you really going to have the entire left side of your line completely new next year? No, I just can't see it.
Right. That's the first point I made. I was hedging, hoping maybe, I guess, that they could sign one of those guys and just assuming one of them's gone and they wouldn't want to compound that by then moving Dawkins because, who's your left tackle? Like, at least those spots, right? You drafted Cedric Van Pran-Granger a couple of years ago. He's been here. He's been in the system. I don't know what kind of faith they will have in him, but it makes sense if they feel like now's time for him to play. Same goes maybe for Alec Anderson stepping in for David Edwards, if that works, or someone else here. You mentioned Chase Lunt a couple weeks ago. I don't know if Anderson's the right name there, but they've got linemen that we know they like. I just don't think Ryan Vandermark is quite at the you're our left tackle now level.
Agreed. And I mean, I would say Tylon Grable is a guy they really like. Ryan Vandermark is a guy that's played, and he's had some down moments. He has some really up moments as well. But Alec Anderson, to me, your starting line next year is Dawkins and Spencer Brown. I think Alec Anderson is your starting left guard. I think Osiris Torrance your starting right guard, which, by the way, you can give him an extension this offseason. And I think that your center is Cedric Van Pran-Granger. So I do think you're already changing out two, and Anderson and Van Pran are the guys you're looking at. But yes, Chase Lunt is still in the mix. Tylon Grable is still in the mix. But that's why you build depth. That's why you have these guys. I just can't see it. And I understand, like, you got to start thinking about being a little more proactive, and you'd rather be too early than too late on these things.
Sure.
But I think in this situation, I think we're a little too early on making that move here.
I think so too. The one thing that I haven't said, we talked about this already once before on the show, but I'll just mention it here. Is it possible that they got really shook up by how that Houston game went? Like, I know Brown was hurt, so like that mitigates what went on his side
in the game, right?
In the game, yeah. Like, did they expect Dawkins to be able to just handle that? And he didn't. And I just wonder if that is anything from the Bills. I recognize this is your friend Matt Perino and Mike Giannetti responding to a question asked by the guys, in part because of what Perino said on that podcast. But I wonder if internally they're like, they see the cliff coming with Dion.
Maybe. I would not go as far as the Houston game. I think the Houston game was a coaching failure. They should not have put those guys in that situation. And by the way, let's remember, in that game, he suffered a concussion, which he went back in the game, and then we realized the next day, right, because he gets put in concussion protocol. So I think that was a part of it as the game went on. It was a rough game. It was a rough game for everybody because I think if you look at that game like that, Bulldog, then you might be going, well, what do we do with Spencer Brown, right? He was also not very good in that game. And
he was hurt.
I just don't think you can isolate it like that. But certainly there has to be a recognition that Dion Dawkins did not have as good of a year last year. I think that has to be – you can't ignore that fact. And that's got to be on Dion to be better. What did he say? He wants to trim down a little bit maybe, I think he said.
Yeah, I heard him say something
he thought he played a little heavy this year.
Yeah.
So, do you guys remember, too, how about the Cincinnati game when we praised him for him and David Edwards and that run by Josh Allen and how great he was and the call? Like, Dion still had some really good moments this year, too.
Sure, yeah.
Sadly, that Italian goaltender was injured. Bulldog was right. Instincts were correct there. He
stayed in. He stayed in, but then came out at like the next stoppage. I think he tried to continue, but he couldn't.
Sweden just added a goal against his backup. 4 minutes left. It's 4-2.
Dahlin get a point on that one or no?
He did. Yeah, he was all over the play.
He has 3 points?
He had an assist on this last goal. The shots are 58-16 with 4 minutes left. 58-16.
Wow.
That is serious stuff. Sal, thanks for your time today. Maybe we'll talk again later in the week.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
That's our Sal Capaccio on the Western Hotline. His appearances are brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet? Well, that's tough. That guy had played so well, and to have to leave with an injury, only down a goal, like
making a save on a semi-breakaway.
Making a save, that's right.
Pettersson.
That definitely looked like a groin injury to me.
It looked like a groin.
Yeah. He stretched all the way out to get to that post to make that save and put his head down as he was stretched out. Like, you could tell he hurt himself.
Grabbed his head.
Yeah, on the play. Just like, oh, no.
4-2 Sweden, U.S. Latvia. Gergensons.
Right.
Tomorrow.
The Latvian locomotive.
Joe says one of 3 players in the games drafted by Darcy Regier.
Ristolainen is on that list?
Yep. We talked about the other two already. Ristolainen being one.
We talked about him already, like last week or today. Yeah. And I don't remember.
Armia.
Oh, right. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
803-0550 to join us. Bills or Olympics, or I don't know. That's probably it. Should I have given the kids the money back? 803-0550, the number. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Thompson will get their Olympics rolling. They'll take on Latvia at 3 p.m. And before that, Team Canada will begin their campaign against Czechia at 10:40. Then some other notes from today for the United States. Women's mogul skiing sees Lise Lemley taking gold and Jalen Koff claiming silver. Men's speed skater Jordan Schultz takes the gold medal and sets a new Olympic record in the 1,000-meter speed skate. And then U.S. figure skating duo Madison Chalk and Evan Bates get the silver medal in ice dance. Your current medal count does see Norway and Italy tied at the top with 13, while the U.S. is just behind them with 12. Norway, though, has the lone lead with gold medals at 7. And then in college hoops later on tonight, UB men on the road versus Ball State. That game will tip off at 7 and can be heard over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
I am going to come back the lightest that I've ever been for this offseason, and I want to play the lightest towards the lightest that I've ever played in my career, and I plan on playing in the 320 range. I'm going to shoot for a different type of vibe for my career. Like, I've been playing a certain way, but me and Will have a good plan for what is next for Dion with my style of play.
Dion Dawkins, Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, 803-0550 to join us. Olympic hockey. Greg Wyshynski tweeted out a graphic of 5 or 6 different rules differences.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting, you get thrown right out. No tolerance.
And there even could be supplementary discipline on top of that.
Mm-hmm. Also, if your helmet comes off, you are obligated to go to the bench, to go off. In the NHL, you can put it back on in the course of play, I believe, is the difference. Ooh. But in the Olympics, you have to leave the ice. No? I guess I can look up what he tweeted. I should have done it anyway.
I didn't. I feel like guys now, the helmet comes off, they go right to the bench. I don't feel like there's any time given to be scrambling around trying to put it back on.
Kenny Albert explained it also today. I was listening. He was talking about this. So maybe I'm wrong about the NHL, but you have to leave the ice in the Olympics.
I think that's the rule in the NHL now, too.
Okay.
But I don't know about this trying to – there's some window of time where you have – I don't know. I've just seen guys leave the ice immediately, and the announcers say, oh, he's got to leave the play because his helmet came off in NHL games.
A few differences. Not a difference in the rules, but a play I noticed in the first game from Finland or Slovakia was – This was kind of cool, I thought. Smart. There was a tie-up behind the net, and the referee never blows that dead anymore. They just want you to keep it moving, and you'll see what essentially looks like the puck is frozen and everybody's frozen for maybe 10 or 15 seconds sometimes. It's a long time.
It's got to get to the point of absurdity for them to blow that dead in the NHL at this point.
There was a play behind the net in this game earlier, and it was one of those, and another forward who was like in front of the net or maybe almost behind the line with an instinct to normally to go in there and try to dig the puck out. Mm-hmm. Instead, just beeline to the bench. They used that opportunity for a change.
All right.
That's pretty good. It's going to be there a few seconds, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get off. I'm going to get off.
But was this an attacking player or a defending player?
Forward.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Not a big one.
Yep. No 4-on-4, like coincidental minors. I saw that listed there, and I like that. That's like the Edmonton rule, right? That came for our younger audience when Edmonton was great in the '80s with Gretzky and Messier and Curry and everyone. Run. They stopped because it was thought that they would try to get you to take a coincidental minor with them so that they could play 4-on-4. And they would just beat you like a drum at 4-on-4 because of all the skill and talent they had. And they changed that rule. It's been switched back. But for a pocket of that era, their coincidental minors would be 5-on-5 still.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The Edmonton rule.
Right.
Were you a fan of those teams? I was.
I don't think I could exactly describe myself as a fan of those teams. I watched them. I certainly appreciated them. I don't remember viewing them through the prism of the Sabres and wishing we were them or anything. But a lot of it, there's that pocket of my life from like 85 to 91-ish, which is a little bit in their sweet spot there, that I just sort of wasn't paying much attention to anything.
Yes, they won
so I missed
3 or 4 in that span.
I missed like prime years of that dynasty. I was sort of at arm's length with everything in sports. It just wasn't as into it as I am now.
I loved them. You might have been able to see them 5 times in a season.
Yeah.
And then the playoffs, maybe, but they were on late. So not even always in the playoffs. Hopefully the finals. But they were different in, I think of it this way. They were one of those teams that was just like, you have to watch this. That, like the Warriors, when they got pretty with Curry. Like, no, that got me into the NBA. And then I have since gotten back out. But that watch that, sit down and watch this. And Edmonton, the Gretzky Oilers were definitely that. There was nobody like them.
Yeah.
And they could lose. I mean, teams like the Islanders and the Flyers would give them, the Bruins would, try to lock them up. And, sometimes it would work. Sometimes they'd win 11-2.
Right.
In the conference finals against Chicago.
Well, once they broke through, what did they win? 5 and 6 years? Basically, it was, right? Did they miss a year and then
85, 87, 88, 90.
Okay.
And 90's without Gretzky.
Right.
86 was Montreal, 89 was Calgary.
I've said this before to you, and I don't know if anyone out there will remember me saying it. It's not the kind of thing you would maybe commit to memory, but I was casual enough about them when I would see them, like I paid enough attention to know that they were this incredible story, and they've got this great player, this Gretzky, right? That there was no just when's Edmonton playing tonight? Let me dial that up on my rabbit ears, right? You were just sort of depending on Hockey Night in Canada, and that would be the late game on Hockey Night in Canada at that.
They didn't have it then.
Right? Okay, even worse.
They didn't have a second game.
So you get the odd Edmonton game. And I know about Gretzky, but I don't even really know like what number guys. I would watch Edmonton and think Messier was the guy that I was supposed to be excited about, because Gretzky's a little more like Crosby has been, whereas like Ovechkin and Crosby. Ovechkin, you turn the game on and you can't miss him. He's in this spot. He's finishing checks. Like, he's just more noticeable. Crosby is more subtle. He's just sneaky good in a lot of ways and does a lot of little things so well that he's one of the best players who's ever lived. And Gretzky was more in that camp, whereas moving up and down the ice, plus Messier wore 11, and like I grew up with Gilbert Perreault being the best guy on my team. So I started watching it. I always thought like 11 must be this guy that everybody's talking about, and it wasn't maybe 3, 4, 5 times that I watched them that I realized that's not the guy. He's great, but that's not the guy. That's not Gretzky. Gretzky's this other guy. He's a little littler and a little bent over and behind the net.
Yeah,
all the time.
They also won in 84. I didn't say that. So it's 5 and 7.
Okay.
Gretzky is 4 and 5, which is what you said. 84, 85, 87, 88, 90. That's the Oiler dynasty. That counts as a dynasty, doesn't it?
Absolutely does.
5 and 7? Should. I don't care what anybody says.
You're doing it wrong if you don't recognize that as a dynasty.
You're just doing it wrong.
We all recognize it as a dynasty. I don't care. You're doing it wrong if you don't recognize it. We all recognize it. Okay, stop.
I subjected Bulldog to some more curling today. Got in the room, preparing to come in this room, turned it on. Well, we talked about it at the beginning. I asked you to talk for 11 minutes.
Right.
Because I miscalculated, like I've never seen the sport, how much time was left in these games, thinking it was 8 ends and not 10. But the men's and the women's tournaments are 10 ends. The mixed was only 8.
So you needed more like 20 minutes out of me there.
I needed a lot more.
Yeah.
It went on for most of the 3 o'clock hour.
Wow.
So I could have used an entire hour. That would have been better for everyone.
All I really had was to talk about this mishap with my truck.
Well, I was interested in that. We made a few curling bets. I told you Joe and I had a conversation about that. I did bet on the Americans to win a medal, the men, which that means plus 650. That tells you.
Yeah.
Not likely to happen.
Right.
I don't think they were very good today, but they won.
Yeah. But you want to be there if they do win a medal, and you are. So good.
I like what I know about the team. It's a young guy, Casper. I bet on Team China to win a medal just because they've had interesting results at the slams, and also plus 700 is China. Went for that. And for the Italian teams to both win medals or even a gold medal. At big odds, which I don't understand.
They're good, and they're home.
They're good, they're home. They've won a lot. The mixed team that just won the bronze and won in 22, the gold medal, the man and the woman from that team are both represented in the, this field.
Yep.
So we'll see. They beat Sweden today. That was a good result for me if they're gonna cash that. So there's curling for you. The next round of games I think is tomorrow morning at 3. That's tomorrow morning at 3.
Yeah.
Morning sessions. Canada has somebody at 3 o'clock. I'm not going to be up for that. If I am, there's a problem.
Yeah, I'm not going to be up for that.
If I am, I'm sick. Or something bad has happened if I'm up at 3 o'clock. And if it's something bad, I'm probably not watching the curling anyway. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, back after this break. This is WGR. Fake golf tonight for you.
Yeah. Little.
Is that condescending to call it fake golf? Did you call it yourself? Call it fake golf?
I did call it fake golf. Yeah.
Is that an okay way to term it?
I don't know if the people that run the places would appreciate it referred to as that, and so I want to be a little more careful.
I don't mean to be rude. I'm not trying to condescend.
I don't either.
I want to know.
But that is how I say it usually.
Okay.
Well, it depends. I mean, to you, I did. I saw 5 people I knew all in an office earlier today, and they said something about my attire, and I said, well, I'm going to play simulator golf tonight, which is what I think they would rather you call it, the people that run the business.
It's a little clunky, though, simulator golf.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but
yeah.
It's also fake.
Yeah. This is like in between. Like this is not just into the mat. We love going to Golf Dojo, and we've done a lot of work there, and they've been great with us, and they're great with Brian and Tee Green and all that. That's just into a mat. We're going to one of the domes, and they have simulators there now, so you usually get like 80 yards of ball flight. But it's still the same. Still the same.
So that is different.
Yeah.
To me, that is different. I've never done that.
Yeah.
That is, you're going to hit balls.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's on a screen,
right? And we'll play a course, and we'll play like meeting a friend and his son, and my son and I are going. We're going to probably play a match at some famous golf course, And,
what a world!
And it is. I enjoy it every time. When I say fake golf, and it sounds like I hate it. I enjoy it.
I know you do.
Going to do it. So maybe I should stop saying it that way. But anyways,
maybe everybody should get over it. I mean, that's kind of what it is,
right?
You're not. You can't just say I'm going to play golf. You never can say I'm going to golf because that I hate because that's not. You play golf, right? Mm-hmm. So you don't golf. You play golf.
I'm going golfing.
I'll allow it, but you're not doing that because it's winter.
Right.
So I know you're not doing that.
Right.
You are going to hit balls and be able to keep score.
Right.
At that.
And what you do, there's all kinds of different ways I think you can set it up. As far as how the putting goes, usually when we play indoors at, say, the dojo, like I mentioned, we just have, it bases how far you are and how many putts it's going to give you on what your handicap is. And maybe how you're playing even, it just compiles data as you go, and that's a 2-putt. That's you made this one or whatever. At the domes, when I've done simulators at the domes, you can set it up so that when it comes time to putt, you've chosen a flag that's out there 50 yards away maybe, and you're taking shots for your putts. You're chipping at the flag, and it's where the ball lands, not where it ends up. So in other words, it's target. So you're shooting at the flag, and the closer you land the ball to the flag, even if it rolls 10 yards past the flag, it's going to give you, and the screen, the simulator that tracks the shots, will give you, depending on how far away you are for the putt. If you're really close, it'll give you 10 feet for birdie. You got a 10-foot ring around the flag. Get it inside there, birdie. Outside of that, to 20 feet, par. Outside of that, right? You get it? That's fun. It's not putting, but
no,
it is.
It's not.
Shooting at a target, whereas when I'm at the indoor simulator without the dome, you're just taking whatever it tells you.
Yeah, putting seems to be the hard part.
Yeah,
with this realm.
I think you can set it up where you can putt, and there is at the dojo they have little holes there, and you can do it. I just haven't ever tried it.
Just put me down for 23 putts.
Right.
And divide it up any way you want.
Right.
Put me down for 23 putts in a round. Can you do that? That seems really good, right? That would be
really good. Yeah, that's
probably going to be higher than that.
Yeah.
Put me down for 30 putts in a round.
That's only 7 times you didn't get your first putt in, right? So,
yeah. All right, 30 might be a little bit more realistic. Well, do you have a indoor golf simulator handicap? Do people have that? I could be in a league?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. People. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I put what my handicap is. I haven't looked, but I imagine it's around 10, which is what it's been for 2 years now. I have not been able to whittle it down from there. So, it asks you for that, and you put that in.
Not your real handicap, your indoor simulation.
No. I'm saying
you have both. I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't have two different ones.
You don't have 20 rounds inside.
I don't.
Whatever the number is where you need to establish a handicap.
I don't know. Is
it still 20 rounds? Is that right?
If I should. I don't use the scores from indoor. I don't keep track of the scores indoors. I'm using the handicap where it left off from November.
From outdoors.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I think that I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah.
It's the best you got.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not recording these scores.
Maybe
indoors.
It's time to start.
Maybe I should.
Maybe get a notebook.
If I were in a league, maybe then I would have to, right? But yeah, I don't really remember what happens when we play indoors.
Well, good luck.
Yeah,
you don't know
thanks.
where you're playing tonight? What course in the world?
No, I don't know. Yeah, we're meeting a friend and his son, and they.
What about Troon?
They are regulars at this dome. We're going out to the one out on Whirly. I think it's called the Whirly Golf Dome.
How many do you have to pick from?
Good question. I don't know. I go to the Paddock Dome, and I've played there, and there's 50 maybe courses. Dojo has way more. There's like you could spend way too much time where you're
cycling through,
trying to, where do you want to play? Where do you want to play? Where do you want to play? And I get pretty annoyed with that. So let's just pick a place. So I'm guessing my friends will already be there, and we're just going to play wherever they have set up, I think, probably. So I don't know where.
All right. Good luck. I'll be rooting for you.
Hope there's not a lot of water.
Even when it's indoor golf, you still have to worry about the water.
I have not been.
Do you lose your ball if you hit it into the water?
No. I have not. I've been to do this only like 3 times since the golf season ended, which is low. Last year, I think I was probably playing almost once a week in the offseason. So I got to sharpen up.
Very good. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. We'll be right back. This is WGR.
NHL players being back in the Olympics is underway after 12-year hiatus. We had 2 games on the schedule today. First up, Slovakia, they took down Finland 4-1, and then wrapping up about an hour or so ago, Sweden beats Italy 5-2, and Rasmus Dahlin with 3 assists for Team Sweden. Tomorrow, the United States and Tage Thompson will get their Olympics underway when they take on Latvia at 3 p.m. And then before them, to get things underway, Team Canada will begin their campaign against Czechia at 10:40. Some other notes for the United States today at the Olympics. Women's mogul skiing sees Liz Lemley taking gold and Jalen Koff claiming silver. Men's speed skater Jordan Souls takes gold and, in doing so, sets a new Olympic record in the 1,000-meter skate. And U.S. figure skating duo Madison Chalk and Evan Bates get the silver medal in ice dance. And with that, your current medal count sits at Norway and Italy in the lead with 13, United States just behind them with 12. Norway, though, has the lone lead in gold medals with 7. We did have some Bills news today. The team has announced they have signed quarterback Shane Buechele and wide receiver Jalen Virgil to 1-year deals. And in college hoops tonight, UB men on the road versus Ball State. That game will tip off just after 7 and can be heard right here, over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp.
We were having a very serious conversation about mayonnaise here.
And the Bulldog.
And don't even talk to me about weed.
On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Shane Buechele, not one of the 62 2025 NFL quarterbacks to have started at least one game. What a list. I wonder if that's a record. More games than ever, more teams, not, like they've expanded recently, but probably more likely to be a record than anything that happened in the 80s.
Yeah.
And, what was it? Injuries, Week 18 is a blow-off for some teams. Tanking maybe a little bit.
Right.
The Jets going to Brady Cook over Tyrod Taylor, or even Justin Fields, who might have been able to play later in the season. Quinn Ewers in Miami. Did they really need a look? Or do they just want to not have Tua play anymore?
Right.
62 guys. Only one for the Bills.
Yeah, I don't know if there was this year an example like what happened with Derek Carr a couple of years ago where they were like, yeah, there's injury stuff here, insurance and whatever down the road that you can't play for us anymore. We don't want to be stuck with that because something contractually says we're tied to you if you get hurt now. I don't know if that happened this year, but that happens more now, like this era, than ever. So
it happened with Russell Wilson in Denver.
That's right. That's another pretty recent example.
Carr is talking about a comeback, and he is also not one of the 62. He did not play.
No.
He did not start a game this year, but he's not old.
I mean, easy for me to say, he should be looking for a comeback. Like if he's healthy and trusts it, wants to put his body on the line again after the injuries he's had. I mean, if we're living in a world where Mitch Trubisky gets maybe a competition even, and people are talking about trading for Mac Jones because they think he might be able to play for them, then Derek Carr should be in that line, I think.
And a world where Sam Darnold won a championship.
Right.
Like, where do I sign? No offense, but like it's just a way more realistic prospect, I think. It seems like it, than it has been in the Mahomes era. He wasn't winning them all. Philadelphia won with a dominant team. Stafford got through. Darnold. Let me take a crack at it. Well, Sal referenced our old prediction game.
Quarterback carousel.
And I'm up for that. I don't think I'd want to wait too long just to do it. The rules were always problematic for me.
Yes.
Trying to figure out a point system and really how to score it. And I don't know if we ever really needed that. There were never any prizes.
Right. The scoring was what? Was based on years into the career? Like you would get
yes.
so someone has been around for 10 years and they get a starting job somewhere, you get 10 points.
Right.
I think that's how that worked.
Right. And that made a couple guys who, I mean, I don't remember the last time we played it. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, maybe. That made a couple guys.
I feel like Derek Carr to the Saints was pretty good for that.
Yeah. Okay. And Rodgers would have been like 19 points or something like that.
Yeah, right.
But there are a number of teams that probably will be looking or could be. I mean,
you mentioned Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't get credit for him in Pittsburgh, right? Because he was in Pittsburgh.
No, it would have to be somewhere else.
So if he comes back in Pittsburgh, you can't pick that. You're not getting any credit for that. That's a returning starter, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a set.
Right.
We don't have printed rules for points.
But I feel like that's
the idea is new places.
Right.
New faces, new places.
Even though it's not certain that he'll come back there, if he does come back there, that's coming back there. That's not a new
You would
place.
not get a point for that, or 20.
So if you were to pick Rodgers, you'd have to be hoping he goes to Minnesota or something.
Somewhere different.
Right.
And you'd have to predict that.
Right. That's it. You match the player with the team. Yeah.
The point, I think, of that was to counteract draft picks that were too obvious. Like the Raiders and Mendoza is too obvious. Like he is going to start week 1 for the Raiders, almost definitely. And that's too easy. So we wanted to give you 1 point for that.
Right.
Because he's never played in the league. And we'll give you 10 for whoever else that has.
The 10-year veteran. Right.
Well, can you think of a fit that you would pick that you like? Is it Cousins somewhere? Last night, ADP chasing, we got into a lot of quarterback stuff. The guys all, I subscribe to it after hearing the arguments. The guys all like, as a fantasy draft pick, right now for next year, per cost, Kyler Murray. Somebody, the argument goes, will start Kyler Murray.
Sure.
And I even said, why can't it be Arizona? I mean, that's the likeliest scenario. That's where he is. And it's a new coach there. Maybe they click. And if he's starting for Arizona with Harrison and McBride and Wilson, well, you can say it first. Here we go again. Here we go again with Kyler Murray.
I'm curious. Did your co-host push back on that? Because I don't.
No.
I don't think it's very. I realize that's where he is, and so that is usually the betting favorite when you're talking about a quarterback carousel thing. If you're setting odds for it, where the guy is, like it's more likely that maybe a move doesn't happen. Man, I think they're done with him. The fact that Jacoby Brissett got that offense above water while Murray couldn't, and the regime change, I just think they're going to be done with him.
But Brissett, they barely won a game.
No, I know. I don't think that's their answer either. But the offense functioned more smoothly, I think, with him. So there's not a fantasy point at all. I recognize he'll have value. He'll go somewhere, and if he stays healthy, he'll run and he'll produce. I would not want him anywhere near my football team.
I know you hate him.
I cannot stand. I just don't think that that's a guy that really needs it, wants it. And I want my quarterback to need it and want it. And I realize that a lot of times it's a facade. They don't all actually, have it, but they act like they do. He just, to me, is the antithesis of what I want in my quarterback. It's not because he's little or anything. It's just I don't believe in him. I don't think there's any heart there, and I just wouldn't want him leading my team.
Well, was there pushback? I wasn't pushing that he'll play for Arizona. I was just adding to the conversation that he could.
Oh, sure.
Like he's going to play somewhere, yes, and it could even be where he already is.
Yeah.
You might say, and maybe this is right, that he's more likely to play somewhere else than there, but it would be hard to know the place.
Right.
And that's why I say if we're going to play this out, we don't wait too long because there will be rumors and
right.
plans will get made.
Yeah.
There was a thing about Malik Willis a day or two ago who played for Green Bay and may have set himself up for like a big contract. He's a free agent. And the teams that were mentioned were the Browns, the Dolphins, and one other one, maybe Arizona, but Miami and Cleveland were two. And someone made the point that Cleveland can go right in. They don't have to trade Tua. They don't have to trade Kyler Murray. They can go right in and commit whatever amount of millions of dollars to Malik Willis if that's what they want to do. I brought up Watson last night as he should count in this game if Watson plays for Cleveland. I got a lot of pushback on that. I don't think my guys think Deshaun Watson's playing for the Browns anymore.
No, I agree, but the financial situation that they still have with him could be something that could keep them from spending $40 million or $30 million a year on Malik Willis or anyone else, for that matter. Like if they think trading for Tua is a good idea, which, I don't know, it's the Browns. They might think that that's a good idea. Oh, he can't play in the cold. Let's bring him to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Right? They might financially not be able to manage that just because of the Watson money that's still sitting there.
Well, I'm not the expert on that, but maybe they need him to still be hurt.
Right.
And that could be his shoulder. He had an Achilles injury and then another one?
Yeah.
Like a re-injury?
And the shoulder was bad before he hurt the Achilles, I think, is how the timeline
His shoulder made him look like he couldn't play anymore.
Right.
Before
he hurt his legs. Yeah, right.
Here's another one from last night that you might want to weigh in on. I think you'll agree with me. My one co-host did not agree with this, Jacob Sanderson. He's a Colts fan. I'm not sure if that at all taints his feelings on this, but it's a fantasy show and it's February. Like, who should we pick or not pick? And we got to Daniel Jones, who was coming off an Achilles injury from when? Early December?
Mm-hmm. I think that's right.
So he's a free agent, and the reports all seem to be that the Colts will keep Daniel Jones. But I'm like, how is he going to play week one off an Achilles injury from December? And Jacob was saying, well, guys come back fast from Achilles now. Like, it's different now. Last 5 years, everybody's back in like that amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
December to the opener. I'm like, well, okay, but they're going to sign him anyway. He passes a physical. He plays in the preseason, or he does it, or at least he practices in training camp. Like, is all that going to happen? And then they roll him out opening day? That seems like a lot. And we're talking about Mahomes.
Yeah, there's one thing that you can line up the timeline being faster. He can be ready to do football things by September. But if you're going to start the season, you need to be ready to do football things by late July. Like, it's an extra month that you're losing in your rehab, I think.
Jacob ultimately was predicting that Jones was likelier to start week one than Patrick Mahomes is. And I don't agree. And who knows from these injuries how bad they are and what the rehab timeline is, everything like that. But Mahomes was an ACL in December or even late December. I mean, I just feel like he's a guy who's on the field. Not a given.
Mm-hmm.
Probably also doesn't, strain himself in training camp. But Daniel Jones is not Patrick Mahomes. Like,
right.
The Colts are perfectly available to bring in a quarterback who has some credibility that could start the season for them. You don't want to just give up on it and wait for Daniel Jones to come save you in like week 6. So you'd want somebody in there.
Yeah.
And Kansas City does not need that. If it's 4 games from Mahomes, maybe there's somebody like they had Minshew last year. Maybe somebody. I just don't think it's the same.
Yeah, they might look to upgrade their backup quarterback to insulate themselves, to make sure they've got somebody that they trust for a month if they need it. If they don't, okay, great, we got a better backup quarterback. But if they do, what are you going to do? You're going to hope to go 2-2 with your backup and then roll Mahomes out there and go win 10 more games. Probably is what you'd be hoping, or 8-9 more games. How deep did we? Do you remember? I don't remember. I remember doing the drafts. I remember keeping track of them. I don't know if we only did it one time. This quarterback carousel.
A few times.
Have you considered how many teams there will be? Because I just sort of loosely ran through it while we were talking, and it's just not. There's not that many.
Well, it's pretty much usually like that.
Okay.
We might have gone 6 rounds, 24 teams, just in case.
Just for fun, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's only 4.
I mean, the AFC, just working off the conference standings, Pittsburgh, I think they don't know. They don't know. Yeah, it's not even a lock, but I'll put them on the list. Indy, because of the injury, I guess goes on the list. Miami, Cleveland.
Who was Cleveland's week 1 starter? Flacco? Then he went to Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Somebody else.
Right.
But Sanders would, in the way we used to play this, Sanders would count because he did not start week 1.
He didn't start week 1? All right.
That's only one. What's one way to do it?
Right.
But okay, Cleveland.
Right. Jets, yes. I mean, the Raiders are going to have a new guy, but we know who it is.
That's 6, though.
Right. That's it, though. Tennessee's not grabbing it. They're going to roll with Cam Ward. NFC, Seattle's all set. Chicago, Philly, Carolina, Rams, Niners, Packers. You get to the Vikings finally, 8th place in the NFC. There's one. Detroit, no. Tampa, no. Atlanta, that could be iffy. Penix also has a knee injury he's rehabbing. Dallas, no. Saints are probably rolling with Shuck, right?
Rattler started week 1, but yes.
Okay. Washington, no. Giants, no. Cardinals, yes. This is not.
Giants didn't start dark, did they? Week 1? Just another one.
Oh, another one. Yeah, okay. We know who
that's a different category.
Right. We know who their guy is going to be, but there's. I don't know. Like, I still think guys like Mac Jones and Malik Willis will get action. If San Francisco wants action on Mac Jones, they'll get it. Willis will get attention because there's enough teams, but there's not. I'm not sure there's enough to have a draft.
Yeah, there might not be 10.
It's not. I just don't think that we've got enough to make it interesting. We'd be really getting silly. Like, even Indianapolis might be a reach. But they may need a different guy because Jones may not make it back. Your friend might not be right. So
the last time we did this, Lamar Jackson was a name.
Oh, because he might have been moving. We didn't know if he was. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's right.
Well, it never, you know me, like it has to be sort of anal, as to sort of, like we never really figured out exactly how to do it.
Right.
This one. Training camp fantasy football ran better with Bauk than my quarterback ideas.
Right.
It was missing one component, at least. The most bet, just quickly, I'm looking at a DraftKings post. The most bet exact Super Bowl 61 matchup. This is about what you win if you win. Jacksonville versus Chicago. And it might even be that logo theory. When the two teams that make the Super Bowl, their logo, their color is represented in the Super Bowl logo. And next year's is some orange and like the ocean, aqua. So Miami, Jacksonville, Miami. Imagine if that happens. New England and Miami.
Chicago works there with that orange, right? Yeah.
Imagine New England goes to the Super Bowl and then the Dolphins. The next, just come on. Let's just
you cut it out.
Get the check.
Yeah, that
cut it out.
That cannot. Mike. That cannot happen.
No, that cannot happen. New coach, new quarterback. It kind of just did. I mean, May was there, but still young. We'll take a break. Warren Sharp joined us earlier to talk about that game, Seattle, New England, and the Bills going forward. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. This is WGR.